All right, Wednesday evening, regular Wednesday broadcast going live. It is going to be a C1 matchup. Table 2 in session 6. Final set of games for Kate, Michael, Nicholas. And they've already played one so far. I believe it was Kate taking the first place in that one. And we'll see how game 2 goes. Unclear whether we'll be seeing just one game from this table or all four, but I'm really excited for whatever they give us. And we'll be underway momentarily. It was Kate taking the first place in the last game with a plus 34.0. Bob took the second, plus 13.9. Michael, positive third, plus 0.9. And Nicholas took the fourth, a negative 48.8. And in this game, we are underway with Kate as our first dealer. On the right, Nicholas. Across the table, Bob. And on the left, Michael X. Kate opens up to a really nice dealer high pie. Good chance at Pingfu here. In the previous game, took a strong opportunity of the South round dealership, winning something like 20,000 points over the course of that dealership. And we'll see if Kate can take advantage of this starting one as well. On the right, strong hand for Nicholas as well. Ishan then already with Adora. Ricci plus Adora is always strong. Across the table, Bob with Chun pair can also maybe move towards a Toy with multiple pairs in hands. That's technically Chitoi Ishanten, and he in fact chooses to not call the 8-mon. That does give Tempai to Nicholas on the right for a Shaba weight Ricci Dora on 3-pin and 1-so. Bob does find Tempai though for the Chitoi on the very next draw on the 8-so, does not choose to take the Ricci just yet. Now Kate kind of stuck here. The safest tiles are the west, but decides to fight with this Ishan 10. Very wide Ishan 10 as dealer, and will deal into Ipatsu for 5,200. I think at the same time, Michael on the left was also not prepared to completely give up the hand just yet. It was looking quite strong as well. So fighting Mahjong from everyone in hand number 1. East 2, Nicholas dealer now. Door acceptance in the form of this 2-3-5 Mon shape. Door is the 4-mon. Needs to work through some of these honor tiles though. North, Hatsu, both of these will be leaving the hand. Kate calls immediately the pay, which is Yakuhai. Also has the Haku available to call. And door acceptance with the 5-mon floating in hand. So potentially 2 or even 3 Han for Kate. Let's move to the right. Bob has reasonable shapes for 2-3-4 Sanchoku with the door, of course. And if he fills Kanchan shapes, could even find Pinshu, although this Anko draw certainly makes that less likely. And across the way, Michael can call the east should that ever come out. They're all on the wall. And we're going to see second call from Kate, and this time the plan is not going to be door acceptance, it's going to be Toy. Tempai already on the Haku and 9-mon. And if the Haku comes out, that will be a Mongon. Even without the Haku, we will have Pei plus Toy with a ton of Fu. There's already 10 Fu in the open calls. And so this 9 is going to make it a 5,200 win. Kate picking up immediately those points. The 5,200 just getting shared around the table. And now Bob in the dealer's seat. This high pie also very pair heavy, and perhaps Bob will be encouraged by the Toy hand that was just won. Might move in the direction of a Toy of his own. This 4-pin cut, first cut, is very interesting. It sort of leans towards the idea of maybe a Chanta play. 6-pin to follow. Still can call, and indeed does make that play. If the 1-mon is drawn, he can still think about something like Chanta Yakuhai, but I think the plan here is definitely Toy again, with 2 Yakuhai possible. On the right, Michael is working towards a Ricci, but lower shapes in all 3 suits are either Penchans or Kanchans, so will be a little bit slow to fill, most likely. Across the way, Kate is holding the Haku and the Hatsu as well as the Chun. So Bob not necessarily going to get the Yakuhai tile so easily. after calling the 9, so there's definitely a question mark as to what the Yaku is, and maybe now it's been determined. On the left, that is Dian Shanten. 2 away from Tenpai for Nicholas. No value. No significant value. There goes the Hatsu, and out comes the Dora. So this is definitely, almost certainly Tenpai. 2 Mon, 3 Mon. They're all being held. No indication that they'll leave the hand so easily. For Kate, 2 3s in a diamond. Oh, Khan into the 1 Mon drop. That's going to come right out. The new Dora is the 4th, so that does add 1 extra Han to Kate's hand should it finish. Right now, the Manzu are looking really suspicious. Oh, but the Pon means that Nicholas is going to have trouble using this 3, and there's a second Khan, revealing the 6-so. Oh, and it really feels like this 3 is going to come out soon, but Nicholas is dodging this. Still Ishanten, and we're going to see a Ricci with all these indicators choosing the Sudi Trap 3 Mon and dodging the deal-in as a result. Waiting, so 2 players waiting for that 3 Mon, and Nicholas is in big trouble here. Can he dodge? 8-pin is somewhat safe. There's the 6 he was looking for so long. Just lets it go. Kate is out. Not going to be involved in this hand whatsoever. 2 very scary hands. Doesn't matter how many Dora you have. If you're too far away from Tenpai, it's a realistic win. And this is Tenpai.
Go.
But that 3 Mon will come out. It'll be Toy double Yakuhai for 12,000 points for Bob as the dealer. And on the right, Ricci Dora. No, Ura misses it all. Thankfully for Nicholas, doesn't have to pay out too much to the second deal-in, but 12,000 already a pretty strong hit. And Bob will jump into the lead at 43,000 points, still in East 3. Wow, nice looking high pie. It could be another Toy. We have, what, 4 pairs and an uncle already set in hand. And the Bob might want more if he starts to draw some more closed triplets. And if he draws the door, he could just slam Ricci in the future as well. Maybe Ricci's son uncle is possible. On the right, Michael with very standard shapes. Just gonna chew through some of these honor tiles and see what sticks. No door just yet. Across the way, Kate looking at potentially Tanyao Pinfu. The Diankan and the Manzu that could fill in for that Pinfu shape. On the left, we've got Nicholas. Hopefully being able to make use of this Dora by pairing it up. Small connection issue for Michael, so hopefully he manages to resolve that soon. Bob, I think, not really holding this towel because he has any thought of keeping it, just holding it to allow some extra time for Michael to disconnect, to reconnect, rather. I'm not going to use all of his bank, time bank, but maybe an extra second per discard. And I always appreciate it when I'm disconnected if players give me a little bit of a chance to fix whatever internet issue happened or log on using a different method. We will see Kate open up for a Tanyao. Yishantan. Slow going for Nicholas on the left. Nothing useful being drawn. Outside of that 2-mon, which did connect to the Dora. And we did see Tenpai drawn by Kate on the 3-so, 7-so, which, funnily enough, Michael's holding 2 of those tiles. So only 2 left in the wall. And Bob's hand has not progressed whatsoever. I don't even think he's had the opportunity to call anything. 1 pin is still held. 9-so still held. The 2-mon was the only option, and that was passed, of course, as this is still Chitoi Shantan. Ooh, another 1 pin will be retained. South was looking better in the wall, but then immediately after holding it, Michael Smokides, another non, so only one left. And Bob says, all right, it's time. I can't wait any longer. I just need to open up this hand. It's going to be hard for Nicholas to use both of these one pins, unless he plans on making it the pair. Oh, but this 3-so doesn't fit, and that will come out and deal into 4,000 points. Collects the 300 from Homba as well. And that will send us into East 4. Of course, as we switch perspectives, still disconnect in place. But I'm rooting for reconnect. There's a moment of hesitation on this 5-mon. Kate was considering whether to chi and fix one of these bad shapes and go for Tanya, but probably looked at the shapes and said, you know what, I think I can do better. I think I can do Arichi for more value. And then when the second 5-mon came out and said, this might be too tricky to fill. Let me just take it now, take my 2,000 points. Nicholas, I remember watching Nicholas a few of his games when he first joined the league. One of the players that enjoys the con. I'm typically pretty scared of conning other people into value. But there are some players who relish the opportunity to just flip monstrous hands off of the con. In this case, it simply adds an extra Han to Kate's hand for the 2,000 point sumo. And that will send us straight into South 1. Kate back in the dealer's seat. A couple upper shapes in all 3 suits gives you the thought of maybe working towards a Sanchoku, especially if you can get 789 with the Dora 7-mon. Oh, and there's a 7-so. Starts with a 3-pin, holding the 6, 7, 8, 9 shape. If you draw the 6-mon, you can just shift from 789 to 678 instead, and maybe get Tanya as well. That's an alternate pair, so just hold the current shapes as they are. On the right, that hand is very close to Tenpai Ishanten already, with the Samenchan in the upper Sozu. And I imagine with 2 Dora, Nicholas doesn't even feel that bad slamming a Richi, even if it's on the once cut 3-pin. Oh, and there's a Dora draw, and Kate just takes the Richi. Forget Sanchoku. I'm Tenpai's dealer with Richi +1. That's good enough. Waiting on the 2-so that just came out from Michael. There are 3 in the wall. Oh, Michael's got an interesting choice as well, because he is Ishanten for Itsu Dora 1 if he wants it, and he does choose to drop the safe 6-so. We'll have to try to pass the 5, though. And if it does come out, that would set up the Suji trap on the 2.
Kang.
Nope, Khan. And Nicholas has so much value in that hand, and now another Dora. If he could just find Tenpai and slam a Richi. I imagine with the current position, he's just going to shove most tiles and try to win this monstrous hand. Well, there's a 2-so. I think Michaels is bowing out of this Itsu. Still technically Ishanten here. The 1 pin is on the outside of the 3, so you might think about Sotogawa as a possibility, but the 3 was only 2 discards before the Richi, so that is less useful as a defensive tool. Two pin is Suji to the 5 that was passed earlier. Nicholas still fighting. And Michael can now see 3 of the 4-so. The 2-so starting to look a little bit safer as a result. Michael playing
Each.
safety here. Finally, Tenpai drawn. It's on a 3rd Dora. make that a 4th Dora because there's a 5-so in hand.
Chi.
Ricci, Dora 4. And the 2-so comes out. Michael takes the opportunity to call the last 2-pin into Tenpai, and that will lead to a deal-in. It would just be K10, but Kate hits Ura as well for 7,700. And that's why Ricci +1 is so strong as dealer. Sumo for 6,000, or Ura for 77 is quite strong. And Kate will approach the lead. Now 1st and 2nd only separated by 500 points. 3rd and 4th only separated by 100. And Kate opens up to what appears to be a Chinitsu Honitsu. Nicholas on the right had so many terminals and honors. Calls the Hatsu, will play for perhaps a Chanta. Oh, that 2-pin, though, might change Kate's mind because this does start to look like Itsu with Dora. We'll see how the draws come into play. I mean, if we draw a 9-mon... Oh, I see where the 9-mons are. That's not going to happen. A 1-so Pon is a play for Sanchoku Dora 2. 4, 5, 6 must be that exact shape for Bob to win here. Michael's got very interesting shapes. What are the most efficient plays? I guess there's 2 pairs. It just likes the overlapping diamond better, even though the 9-mon just came out as a pair. If you're playing for Tanyao, you can just go 7, 8-mon. And then if you draw, you'll have 2 pairs. You know, still you'll have the 4-pin pair and the 7-so pair. But you can draw into a diamond instead and upgrade that shape, just like we saw with the 3-pin pull-in. Kate has decided to move towards the Honitsu, though, discarding the 2-pin. And that allows a call on the right. Oh, Tenpai! And that's that 6-9 mon weight for Michael. Ricci Nomi, but can be Tanyao if the 6-mon is the winner. There are 2 6-mon in the wall, as well as one of the 9-mon. Kate immediately pulls in this 5-pin. We'll have a tough time pushing the 5. Well, the 8-pin has passed, and 3 of the 3 pins are visible, which means the 5-pin is like 1 chance. Might not be that bad. But if this 3-pin Ricci came out from a 3-3-4 shape, could also deal in, so... Nope, 5-pin will be trusted. And here's the 9, but Nicholas is going to hold on to it. Kate has 5-pin to pass. Can call that. Ishanten now for Chinitsu as dealer. With possible Itsu on top of that. This is going to be Tenpai. 6-9. Again, it's going to be a double roll.
Dom.
Ricci Tanyao no Ura. That's only 26. This is the big hand. The full Mangan as dealer for Kate, and that will drastically change the scope of the top half of this game, at least. Kate in dominant position at 54,000 points. I think that is the 3rd double run of this series so far. And similarly to the first one of this game, it was 12,000 points for dealer versus 2,600 for the second player. Michael will win back the Ricci sticks, though, and the Homba. And now 2 calls into what could just be a double Yakuhai only, or a Honitsu play. And 5-pin would definitely signal that Michael wants Honitsu. There's the Haku try, not afraid of the Daisangen just yet. And all fears alleviated as Nicholas takes the call.
Chi
into Tenpai. It's not the greatest Tenpai. Just on the 7-mon. Players might be suspicious of a Honitsu, with the South being the most recent cut, and the hand being 3 calls in. However, The value is actually not that large here. I wonder if there's any draw that will convince Michael to get off of this 5-pin pair. Or if he's just content to take the points and move us into South 2. Yeah, not at this rate. Switching to the Tonki here, though, could move him in the direction of a door Tonki later if he draws the 5-so. Oh, picked the wrong Tonki. A true Mahjong classic. Ooh, second door for Kate means that this reach is going to be pretty strong if it ever gets there. And with, what, 3 diamond shapes? Seems pretty likely to get there. Oh, now Salmon-chan drawn. So 7-pin, 7-pin will be the cut. Ishan 10 for a monster from Kate. No shortage of strong hands from Kate in the series so far. 9-so, the new Tonki. But there's the completed shape, and Kate will have 6-9-so as the weight. And this Tonki is so awkward for Michael. It's hard for him to get off of it. Nicholas might be in trouble upon drawing the 7-so. Depends on what he wants his foul shape to be. The issue is that the 6-so has already been discarded, so the 6-9-so weight would be Furi-ten. Bob as well can see 3 of the 6s, 3 of the 7s. Might just get this general sense that upper Sozu is pretty safe. Would not be accurate, though, in this instance. Kate is holding the last 7-so.
Chi.
There's a Chi into temp. Bye for Bob. It is on the 7-mon. Oh, the 7-mon drawn.
Dong.
And that will shut down the potential monk on Riichi Pinfudora 2 from Kate. Instead, Sanchoku ends it. We've seen Bob definitely aim for Sanchoku in a couple hands. And this one, this time pulls it out. Good Sanchoku vision. That'll be 30,000 points for Bob. Back to a positive score. And in South 2, it's Nicholas in the dealer seat. Hi, Pie. Looks like they just wants to be a Riichi and a dealer continuance. Nothing too fancy going on here. On the right, now that's a little bit fancy. Maybe Honitsu. Although you've already completed 2 blocks and a pair in the Manzu. So if you draw another shape elsewhere, you can just slam a Riichi, especially if you draw around this 2-pin. Speaking of the 2-pin Dora, Michael across the way also has 2-pin and a pair of those. There is a world where he cuts 9-pin, 9-pin and shifts into Tanya. But for the time being, just throwing out these terminal tiles and floating the acceptance of all the other shapes. 4-mon, 8, 5-so, and even was holding the Hatsu for a while. But we will see a second call to Tenpai, and immediately Bob's got the Honitsu. It's only Honitsu. But I think this 9-mon's coming out and dealing in for the 2,000 points. So a little bit of ground made up by Bob here. Will move us to South 3 and Bob's chance in the dealer seat to win a large amount of points at once. Hi-Pi looks really strong. 2 completed shapes and a pair plus a diamond. Just needs to find 1 more block, and technically this 7-9 does it. Maybe Bob can upgrade that shape with a 6-so and aim for 6-7-8 Sanchoku and Pinfu as well. But even Tanya, lots of upgrades potentially for Bob here. Even with this 5-so draw, yeah, cutting the 9-so and holding the Tanyao Jiangkan shape makes some sense. Could have cut the 3 as well to hedge the 7-8-9 Sanchoku. But the 3-so is helpful in incorporating the Dora if we were to draw that. So I think I do prefer this way instead. On the right, Michael
Riichi
is going to have to defend against Riichi because Kate has already found Tenpai. Riichi, Dora 1 waiting on the 7-so. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on Bob too, who really wants to fight for this hand. If he draws 4-so, I think he just has to smash the Riichi and deal in. So he's almost hoping to draw the 6-0 instead, and even if you draw, say, 6 mon, it's more likely that he would cut the 7 than the 3, just because it's near Dora. The 3 is near Dora, that is. Although if you discard the 3, that does set up a Nakasuchi trap. It will be a tough decision, but will not have to make that decision, as Kate will find Sumo instead. Reach Sumo Dora Noura, but 1,000, 2,000 will be a 4,000 point gain for Kate. Bob will drop back down to 30,200, but still barely in the positives. And we move to Michael's dealership. I'm not seeing a draw, so I think we might have glitched the Tenho out. So let's get a quick refresh in. Alright, this looks better. Tanya, perhaps. If I imagine this East and Green Dragon turning into a 3 and 4 pin, maybe we have Sanchoku. But instead, a 6 mon is drawn, so 2 away from Tempai. Very strong hand for Michael, though. If he needs to, he can bail out with a Tanya. Just open up the hand. But wow, nice 5-so draw. Ishanten already. Cuts the 1-so, saying, I want to draw an East or I want Tanya. It does lose Tempai draws on the 1 mon and the 3. And also technically the 2, but that's really unlikely. But Michael's planning to get the extra value with Tanya here, so probably going to replace this East with the next Tanya tile that gets drawn. On the right, another strong hand, so that could be Richi Tanya Pinghud. And that's Ishanten already. Toyman, potentially Toy. Although not a lot of value to be had there. After all, Dora has been discarded already from that hand. And here it is, the 4.
Each.
We'll just slam the Richi, not waiting for the potential Sanchoku upgrade. Because even if you drew the 6-so or the 3 mon, there's no guarantee that your winning tile would actually be the Sanchoku side. And as a result, with Ipatsu, Richi, Ipatsu, Tanya, Dora, it's a Mangan, 12,000 points. And Michael is now over 30,000. Some competition now around starting points between Michael and Bob for second place. This high pie, not nearly as strong as the last one, but still has a completed shape and good floating tiles. Dora as well. Kate is swamped with blocks, but not all of them are very good. 3 Kanchan shapes here. And Nicholas across the way. Ishanten already. Pairing up the 4-2 pin will give Pinfu as well. But many tiles give Tempai, especially in the Manzu. Like this one. And we'll slam Marichi. It'll be a Tonki weight. Just choose the best Tonki, and the 2 pin look pretty standard. So Richi Nomi for Nicholas. A little bit awkward for Michael to try to defend against this, because even if there's a Tsumo, if it's a big enough Tsumo, could make up the gap between him and Bob. So there's some incentive to fight, but Sumo will come in. Richi Tsumo and Nogura found. So just the 2,000 points, and that will ensure that Michael stays above 30,000. Fortunately for Bob, that does drop him below. So Bob will take the negative 5.4. Michael, the positive 5.5. But again, big winner in this game. Absolutely Kate, who has now taken 2 firsts in the series. Prior to this match, had a goal of just staying even. If you can finish with 0.0, then Kate was looking to be in the guaranteed promotion spots. But after 2 wins, can now even fight for first overall in C1. only 4.3 points away from taking that spot from Brian, who just got there yesterday. And Brian is done with the season. Congrats to him for what is almost guaranteed. Oh, we'll say it's guaranteed actually to be a promotion into the B3 division next season. Yoon as well in the clubhouse with 227.2 after the games yesterday. Congratulations to Yoon for an awesome season. Benjamin, another player, over 200 points. Anticipate seeing Benjamin in B3 next season as well. So congratulations to all three. And it's looking like Kate is going to be in that same group of players, moving up in the divisions for next season. All right, it looks like they're either taking a break or it's possible they're only playing 2 games. But we definitely have more games later this evening, even if it is only 2. All right, it is just 2 confirmed. So it looks like we've got actually a little bit of a break before our next game is going to start. So perhaps we can use this opportunity to take a big look at the standings and just go division by division and see where everyone stands and what the likely outcome is. Now, there was a big announcement a little bit earlier this week for players who are in all divisions regarding the number of people going on hiatus for the next season, the number of people returning from hiatus. It's a little bit difficult to predict exactly how many bonus promotion slots there are going to be in each division, but I think it's a pretty safe assumption that there will at least be a couple. At least that's my theory on this. I don't want to speak on behalf of the league or anything, so this is just my personal opinion. But I'm anticipating at least 2 for divisions like even maybe A2, 1 to 2 minimum. So that means that the lower divisions are likely to have a lot more. And so we could see people like Tyler, Edward, Alex even promoting, although they're already finished with their Session 6 games and have no more room to move up. I do anticipate seeing a couple bonus slots awarded. So players like Tess and Michael, who do have a couple games yet to play, will be attempting to reach that 150 mark, at least 130, and put yourself in a good position. Carl as well, 2 games to play. Thomason with all 4, and also hope to climb up to that 100-point mark. And even if that goal can't be reached, as long as you're positive in the C1 division, there is always a chance that you can promote. So players who still have games to play but are negative and maybe too far away from the 150, 100-point mark can still make it a goal of just being positive at the end of the season. Players like TJ at negative 14 points with 2 games to play, or Christopher and Michael S. with negative 29, negative 33 respectively, and 4 games to play. Make it a goal of just trying to be positive at the end of the season, and that'd be a good point to end. I see Oliver already in the clubhouse with negative 0.7. That is perhaps the Saki Award winner for this season. I wonder if, I guess we'll find out as we move through the divisions if there's anyone closer who's finished all of their games. Let me open up this. And of course, there are a few players who have games yet to play, and that will also affect things as well. But right now, the mark is negative 0.7. All right, who's somebody in B3? I know a player. We'll get the standings updated to the B3 division The next game from that is scheduled at least for today is a B3 game. So perhaps these standings will be updated pretty soon. Currently, David and Nathan dominating this division. Garrett doing quite well as well. And out of these 7 guaranteed promotion spots, the cut line is 86, so very tightly contested. Now, if we assume there's going to be 1 or 2 promotion slots, it looks like being around 70 points is currently good enough. But a couple of these players have games from previous sessions to complete. It looks like there's at least one table that needs to finish their session 5 games. So that could also change the cut line here. I would say that if you hit 100 points, you're probably in a pretty strong position to promote out of B3. Again, personal opinion only. But actually quite a few, I don't think anyone has started their session 6 games yet in this division, so it could be very volatile as time moves forward. It looks like at the top of this division, it's a strong deal-in percent and low deal-in average. Low 10s for the top 3, and continue down the list. There's quite a while before you get to some of the higher deal-ins. Eric, of course, has the highest of the promotion zone members, but a very strong winning average. It's like every time Eric wins a hand, it's 3 and 40 or more. 52 to Mongod, so that's a way to compensate for dealing in more times, is to just win a lot of points. And of course, Eric has that 23.8% Ricci rate, highest among the promotees. Definitely a big reason for why that average is so high. It looks like it's hard to tell what's going to happen in this division until we get some more games in, but extremely volatile. Let me actually look and see who's playing tonight. I've got Dylan, Elwin, Jeffrey, Ray. So this game is going to be very interesting in terms of what happens at the demotion line, which currently relegation happens at negative 97.6. Tomas is the first player out. And notably, over the course of the season, Tomas got off to a little bit of a slow start, but has stormed back. I mean, was in the negative 200s, I believe, and just kept winning game after game to get back to negative 87.6. So if he continues that strong showing, can avoid demotion. And we'll take a look at these standings again a little bit later tonight as the B3 games continue. Okay, what happens in B2? B2 has seen a few more games played. One series has already finished. PO is in the at the maximum number of games. Dominated the last series. I saw a couple wins of, say, plus 40, plus 60 territory from PO. At plus 345.8 is very close to the record for most points won in a division. I believe that record's at 390, but PO confirmed to move forward to B1 next season, back to B1. Took a quick vacation in B2, and we'll be back in that division for the next season. It is 1/4 and 9 firsts, and I guess that's all you need to know. That EV is insane. 12,000 at the end of the season. Like, those are session 1 numbers. The type of numbers you get after having a good first session, and then those numbers come back down to the norm. But 27% win, 8.6% deal-in is a crazy spread, and a much deserved promotion for PO. Blake, Gauhan, Ryan, 3 players who are confirmed promoting, and Josh, Kayla, right on the doorstep at plus 94 and 92 respectively. It seems like there's going to be a pretty tight battle around plus 100 in this division. I believe that was the same situation last season. Um, there was a lot of swingy games at the end of the season, but it was important to be around 100 points in terms of promotion. In fact, I think I can look at the historical standings and find out exactly what the cut was last season. Let me take a quick peek. In B2, yeah, the last promotion slot ended up being exactly 101. So that was with 2 bonus promotions. So if we assume the same here, Josh and Kayla are definitely going to be aiming to get a few more points to confirm that promotion, especially with Daniel and Barry chasing them down. Uh, Both definitely have the ability to make up the gap right now. And even players in the 40s, if they have a good session, a plus 60 session, could find themselves at 100 points. And Jason, Kevin, both strong players. Philip right behind as well, also very strong. And so it's going to be an interesting battle at that promotion zone. A lot can happen. And I think a bit is going to depend on who's playing each other. Perhaps, Josh and Kayla are at the same table. That might mean one of them goes up and one of them goes down. Or maybe worst case scenario for both, they both go down or they both go up. Um, Typically, though, if you're playing against your direct competition, you can make it a goal to at least stay ahead of your competition, and then that can affect not just your play, but the overall standings at the end of things. Makes things quite exciting for sure. And I'll be looking forward to seeing those games getting scheduled so I can try to watch these, because the B2 division all season long has been really, really fun. I'm seeing that Ryan, Daniel, Philip, Emily are playing next Monday, and Josh, Kayla, Kevin, Tommy. Oh my goodness, it is Josh and Kayla and Kevin all at the same table. So those are 3 people in the hunt. That is going to be a great series to watch. And that's going to be happening on Monday and Wednesday of next week. So I will definitely be trying to catch those games. All right, let's take a look at B1 division. B1, a very funny division because it is kind of small right now. And yes, Korak, as Kork points out, uh, games looks like they're going to be on a break for at least another 25 minutes minimum. So we've got some time. Perhaps once I finish this run through, we can go on a break until the game starts. Okay, B1, the 16-player division. We haven't seen a 16-player division since the very inception of the league, after the inaugural beta league, getting into the Armal lore at this point. The A1 division was 16 players, and I believe A2 might have been as well. That was quickly changed. I think they had 2 seasons as a 16-player division, and then it was realized that if something happens and there's an emergency dropout or hiatus, then it's actually really hard to schedule games after that. So the league size was increased to 20. And fortunately, this group has been really good at scheduling their games and keeping on top of things. And it's been quite intense because no matter where you are in the standings, unless you're at the very top or the very bottom, there's always a bit of pressure because you could promote. I mean, there are 6 promotion slots, and right now you only need 23 points to promote. At the same time, if you have 23 points and you have a bad session, you could drop down to where Greg is sitting at negative 48.4, and that will put you in the demotion zone. So every session, every single game has a lot of pressure attached to it. And one positive finish, one positive game itself can leave you feeling like you're about to promote, and then what a negative game makes you feel like I'm close to demoting. Very difficult to handle all of that pressure, and all of these players performing admirably. Currently, everyone has played exactly 20 games, even though for Edwin it says 21. That is just due to Edwin having to substitute for another table at some point in the season as the league admin. And so he actually does only have 20 games played, and the score is correct as we see it now. Stanley, in his last series, took control and back up to 220 points in B1, in very solid position to promote. Kaz as well at plus 133 will find it difficult to drop too far down. Hanlei's played the very slow and steady approach, picking up a few points here and there, and through 5 sessions at plus 58 is looking good. But the question is, will there be calm and peaceful games like we've seen in B1 the previous sessions, or are there going to be, monstrous 50-point wins and 50-point losses to send people flying up and down the standings? B1 always an exciting division to watch. And let's see. The next B1 game is scheduled to be Monday, next Monday. Stanley, Julian, Jay, and Greg. And I believe this is due to sort of snaked round positioning. There's always going to be a spread of players at the table, some near the top of the division, some near the bottom. So it's Stanley at the top, Julian right in the middle, and I think Jay is just ahead of the cut line, and Greg in the demotion zone. And each of these tables will feature that sort of spread, so everyone's got a different goal at their table. It makes for very exciting games. I wonder if B1 is also going to get extra promotion slots, because I know they are anticipating having a lot of players returning from hiatus. That was the reason that the division became so small in the first place, was the multiple players needed to take a season off. But if they, since there's so many people returning, that will bring the league size back to a larger number. And if there are bonus promotion slots, a big goal for these players, again, just like in the C1 division, is going to be finish the season with a non-negative number. Even if you are 0.0, that could be good enough. Okay. A2 next. Let's see. Who's a player in A2? So we've seen a lot of A2 games come through in the early portion of this final session. Even some were played ahead of time, as this division was large enough for the final session rounds to be determined from the start of the season. So some players took advantage of that and played their games ahead of time. Zalong was one of those players, and just absolutely dominated in basically every single series, plus finishes the season with plus 270. Very strong result for him, and we'll be going back to A1 next season. A perennial A1 player, it seems. Will, maybe a biennial? Anyway, Will had sort of middle of the pack going into the middle part of the season, and then just went on an absolute tear. The final 2 sessions, so many strong first places, plus 40, plus 50 finishes, and ends the season with a positive 238.3. Great performance from Will, and it will be exciting to see him in A1 as well. I believe Will also participate in IORMC and performed quite well in that competition. And Jonathan, we saw a bit of the Jonathan series, I believe, on Monday, and finished game number 3 with a plus 90 to jump all the way into the 3rd position overall, finishing the season with plus 226.0. That should be comfortably promoting into A1 next season. And I remember playing against Jonathan in the IORMC qualifiers, and he also dominated that table. It's a very scary player to go up against. All 3 top finishers with win averages over 25%, which is just amazing, and very strong win averages as well. You can see super high Ricci rates for Zilong, who is well known to be a closed player, and Jonathan as well, who also likes to build value via Ricci. Kind of impressive, though, that Will has averaged 6.1 thousand points with only a 19.4% Ricci rate. That Ricci rate looks more like mine, and yet still manages to build monstrous hands. Even the open hands have Dora to increase the value. Kevin also done this season, finishes with plus 178.5, and that should be pretty close to safe. Does have Steven with 4 games that could surpass. Viet as well with 4 games could also surpass. And would need both of those players to catch up in order to drop out of the guaranteed promotion zone. But again, even if that happens, there's very likely to be at least one bonus promotion slot. So I think if you're in the 6th spot, you're probably safe. And that means that 6th spot is going to be under contention with Leon 2 games to play to try to catch Viet and Wenchen as well. A little farther away, so would probably need Viet to lose some points in the upcoming series, which is, so far this season has been very difficult to have happened. Viet playing super safe here, only 7.8% deal-in, and a strong win rate as well. All the members of the Snake Shack performing well this season. Snake Shack being players who don't have a specific club that they're a member of, but really like to study using the computer analysis, such as Naga or Mortal or Aquachan or other methods. And I think overall this season, if we just look at the club leaderboard, Snake Shack members, all 4 of them, are averaging plus 5.3 per game, which is 4th overall. And the only players who are doing, the only groups that are doing better are groups that have only 1 or 2 members. So with 4 members averaging 5.3 is actually really super strong. As tight as the race it is going to be for promotion, it's equally close in the demotion zone. Relegation currently held by Christian, Riley, Rachel, Christine, Harrison, Ada. But that cut line at negative 100 is so close. Brian managed to avoid, just jump out of the demotion zone with a Sho Sushi, I believe. A Yakuman to help stave off demotion temporarily, but needs to survive 4 more games. And Sho Sushi not easily to pull off on command. So John as well in that tense situation of needing to pick up some points. Luce was at 100 points and pulled off a couple of great games to give a little bit of space. But those series up at the demotion zone are going to be very, very closely contested, I'm sure. Okay, only 1 division left. division I'm most intimately familiar with. See, I know the current top of this division is Max. So we'll use Max as our player to pull up the standings. Max at plus 192.0, Matthew at 187.7. Those two are at the top of the division. Again, in A1, there is no promotion. There's only the single victor, and the championship table awaits the winner of the fall season. Currently is Kenyon Nathaniel and Lucas playing in that championship table. And one more player will get a seat at the table. Will it be Max? Will it be Matthew? Will Claire or Peter chase them down? Only time will tell. I did see a couple of A1 games getting scheduled, and I'm very much anticipating getting to watch those. On tomorrow, Peter, Garrick, Andre, Aaron will play. And on Saturday, Max, Simon, Beach, and Andrew will play. I think there's one more A1 table. The Claire, Alex, Dustin, Minko table will be played on the 18th, so next Monday. And wow, that means that Monday is going to be jam-packed with fun games. I mean, I noted the A2 game earlier that I really wanted to see. The B2 game that I really wanted to see. And now that A1 match, I'm going to definitely want to watch that one. But the bigger question for A1, outside of who's going to win the championship, is what's going to happen in the demotion zone. It's very closely contested, with that cut line being right around 70. Beach and the first safe player out at negative 63.8 will be at that max table, so it's an interesting dynamic when you have one player desperately trying to stave off demotion and another player trying to collect as many points as they can for the championship. Similarly, I believe Matthew will have Korak, Arthur on the table, and that will be another interesting dynamic. Two players who desperately want to win points. I believe Lucas is at that table as well, so three very strong players, all a desperate need of points. And usually the Session 6 games from A1 are must-watch games. Everyone pulls out full concentration, full focus, and the resulting gameplay is just so exciting. Strong defense, evaluating whether to push it, whether to fold. Mawashi is so good, and everyone playing to meet their conditions is the most fun mahjong to watch. I think some of the best games that I can recall watching, just in terms of overall gameplay from all four players, have been session 6 matches in A1. I remember a couple seasons ago, there were two back-to-back tables, both tables from A1 playing, and it was some of the highest level play that I've seen ever. So it was just incredible to watch. Specifically, how everyone was manipulating their own hands to try to meet their goals, and manipulating the rounds themselves to meet their goals. If they needed the game to continue, they would force it to continue. And it was incredible to watch. So I can't wait to see what happens in A1 for this season. My own table looks like it'll have a little bit of trouble scheduling, so that means I'll have plenty of time to sit back and watch what happens. Ah, Cora points out Shu is the other player at that table. Yeah, it's really interesting in terms of EV. You have Max and Matthew, two heads of the league, with the EV over 1,000. But after that, like, there is a big mix of what's happening. I mean, there's a small correlation with lower scores being closer to the bottom, but Andre at negative 38.9 has an EV of 206, but is in, 12th place versus the next what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 players below him all have higher EVs and yet have worse scores. And in some places, like significantly worse scores. So it's really odd. I guess everyone below Andre has a better EV. So it's really odd how that's working out here. And more of a signal, I think, of like big UMA hits, I guess. Typically, EV correlates really well with placement, but in this instance, it's not going so well. Still, once again, if you are over 1,000 EV, you're doing really well. And look at that average deal in for Max, 2,784. I am so jealous. My average hasn't looked like that since like the second session. And it's interesting also to see the difference between Max and Matthew. I mean, they're at basically the same spot, but Matthew appears to be more aggressive, it looks like, with a slightly higher deal in percentage and a slightly higher deal in average, but wins on average 400 more points per hand and in whole extra 1% more hands, period, to get there. But the call and reach rates are relatively similar. Matthew with perhaps slightly bigger reach rate. And yet they find themselves in basically the same position. Max appearing to do more on the defensive end. And I almost wish that the final table could be Max and Matthew facing off against each other because it would be quite exciting to see. But the way that is currently set, I think is a really nice compromise based off of the data that administration saw from previous seasons. They found a good way to balance all of the positions, and I really do like the way that the players at each table snake around. I think this is the best system that I've seen for final table scenarios. Okay, well, we're anticipating the next game to start at the top of the hour, which is 5 minutes away. Of course, there will be a 5-minute delay. Perhaps we'll go on a quick break to help prepare for that. When we come back, we should have actual Mahjong for you, B3, coming up soon. See you in a bit. All right, back for live commentary of B3 with Ray, Elwin, Dylan, and Jeffrey. In that order around the table will be Ray opening us up in East 1. This is first game of Session 6 as far as I can tell for the B3 division. This battle, a very important one for all four of these players. Well, three of these players. Dylan this season acting as a substitute player. Thanks to Dylan for jumping in. For Ray, Elwin, and Jeffrey, this could determine relegation for some of these players. Elwin in danger of dropping in the demotion zone. Ray in that relegation zone, but has, of course, the ability to climb out of it. We'll see if she's able to do so in this matchup. High Pi for Ray, not the strongest. Hakutsu is the Dora, one in hand. That penchants galore. It's very difficult to make something workable with the current set of tiles. On the right, Elwin. Better shapes. Actually, this hand is Ishanten. Looking to fill the 5-so for Ipeko. And of course, Diankan in the Manzu. It's a pretty reasonable shape. Oh no! Just as Ray dropped the Dora, a second one comes to hand, and I think that one has to leave as well. Dylan across the table. Standard shapes for just Richinomi. And on the left, another hand that's not going to be able to use Dora. Looks like a Tanyao for Jeffrey. Very slow hands all across the board. Oh, the third Dora. Tragedy. Well, the 7-so is kind of an interesting draw. Elwin actually cut away from the 8-man, giving up the pretty reasonable Diankan shape. 4-6-8. Favor of holding just multiple potential tiles in the sosu. 8-so or 4-so, 4-7-so, 5-8, 4-7, all good draws. Oh, but tempai found by Dylan. And we'll go with the Shabo Richi. Richi Nomi waiting 5-pin, 9-pin. And there are only 3 tiles for the Shabo in the wall. If Elwin was hoping to move this hand towards the Tanyao, now this 9-pin will deal in. Trust the Sotogawa 2-so though. And Ray's hand all of a sudden looking a little bit better now because there's a Sanchiko chance. The 1-so can be found. Gives up on the 9-so because the 2-pin looked a little scary, but the 2-pin passes, so now Ray can drop that freely. And the West Wind has, it just came out, but can call this for Tempai. Atosuke waiting for the 1-so. And will make the play. 5-man push. Racing, I need to retain my dealership. There are 3 1-so in the wall versus the 3 tiles for Dylan, but the 9 comes out. Elwin got the Tanyao upgrade he was looking for, but unfortunately that meant dealing in for the Richinomi. Not the biggest point exchange though, and with still relatively close scoreline, we'll move into East 2. Elwin as the dealer with the door in hand, 1 to 3 Sanchiko possible. Another terminal block. I think it's too. The pair of the 6 pins makes it too difficult to shift to a Junchan or Chanta type hand, so the honor tile will just come out. On the right, very standard shape, 7-8 Mon, 7-9 pin, 8-9, so gives the vibes of Sanchiko as well. Not much other value to be had in that hand. Jeffrey across the table, also playing some pretty small ball here with the East call. East only will probably be the value for this hand. Unless the Dora somehow pairs up in hand, but currently Ishantan. On the left, Ray. With okay floating tiles. 2 pairs. If you can end up on the south as part of a Shabo weight, that's okay. will take some effort to maneuver this hand. The 4-mon's a great draw. Helps solidify your mon shape. So now you can cut away from some of your 2s. Holding the 2-pin because it is close to the Dora, and that's typically a good floating tile, or a good tile to float, I should say. Elwyn spots the Sanchoku and just calls immediately for it. Ishanten now looking for 3-mon, and then 5-8 pin. And Ray might be dropping a 5-pin pretty soon, so Elwyn looking good to repeat. Dylan has drawn into the 7-8-9 of the Monzu. Now just needs to do the same for the pin and the So. And Jeffrey has drawn the Dora, and in fact, cuts away from the So shape in its entirety. I wonder if this is a play for bonus value with Chanta. It's very, very aggressive. That seems to be the idea. We'll see a Chi here. And then what do you cut? A no Chi. Wow. That confuses me a little bit. I think Chi there is fine. And then we can cut, say the 1-mon and wait on the south. Tonki.
Chi.
And if we draw the 9-mon, then we can shift away. But I do value completing that Penchan, because it is a kind of tricky one to get. The 5-pin does come out, and Elwyn does draw a call into Tempai, waiting on the 3-mon. Oh, but Ray gets Tempai, and it is that tricky Shabo. 5 So south, and 3 is drawn. But Dylan just shows it anyway, and that will not deal into the Ricci player, but actually, the dealers, Sanchoku Dora, 2 Han 30 is 2,900 plus the Ricci stick. And Elwyn will extend forward a little bit into the lead. New Hypai looks awesome. I would love to start with this for basically confirmed Pihu potential Sanchoku 345. Hatsu's the door again. Always a little bit tricky to play hand with the Dragon Dora. Dylan on the right with shapes. Not amazing shapes, but they are there. And unfortunately, I guess you don't have to play the hand in the game of Mahjong. You can just choose to fold out. We'll just be slowly maneuvering this hand to something workable. If he ends up on the 1-2 Penchan, so be it. It just has to be careful to try to identify if any of the other hands have value. And very likely his hand's going to be worse than the other ones. So if he suspects that someone has something that's worth a lot more, he may choose to back away. Across the table, that looks like a Honitsu play from Jeffrey, and that is in the Dora suit. When an honor is the Dora, every Honitsu is the Dora suit. And Ray, wow, what are these draws? It's Suako Ishanten. And the 1-mon looks so good with the 2-mons being discarded like this. If Ray can find Tempai, this could be insane. I mean, the East has one in the wall. The 3-mon has one in the wall. And there are 2 1-mons as well. So Suako totally live here. Elwyn calls one step closer to Tanya with potential Sanchoku. But the 3 pins are very hard to find. Ray's holding 3 of them. Jeffrey might be a little bit concerned about this 2-5 Suji, but tests the 2, it passes. And here's the 6. Ray goes with the 4 first, so that doesn't help advance Elwyn's hand, which is strong for Ray. Oh, do we call? Is it too late? Do we need to bail out with a Toy Toy? I mean, Toy Toy Yakuhai. Yakuhai is very good, and you have Sanako chance, and Ray does make the call. Ray's draw would have been the 4 pin, so not particularly helpful draw. But that does give Elwyn Tempai on the 2-5 So. There are 4 tiles in the wall for Elwyn's weight. And for Ray, there are 2. The ace comes out, and that will be a Mungan. And that is huge. Ray needs all the points. currently the one player at the table in the demotion zone, so a first place would be a massive result. 15 points of Uma plus, 5 to 10 points is a plus 20. And that goes a long way to escaping, avoiding relegation. Dylan, the current dealer, has an amazing high pie. The only thing it's lacking is a Dora. Or a 1-2-3 Sanchoku. Or an Itsu. I guess the Itsu is still possible. Needless to say, Dylan should be pretty far ahead of the rest of the table. Let's look at the other hands. Jeffrey, not too bad. Opens up with the Chun, has a Dora, and a good floating Forso, and 7 Mon. So that one's not too slow, and even pairs up the 9, so looking like it could match Dylan in terms of speed. Across the table, that's going to be a Ricci, maybe Pinfu if you can turn either the 2 Mon pair or the 5 Mon pair into a sequence. Especially, I guess ideally for Ray, that would be drawing the Dora 4 Mon. On the left, very classic looking hand. Elwin has just been chewing away at the honor tiles and soon to be the terminals as well. There's some incentive to keep all of these terminals. The 9-so, the 1 pin, the 1 mon, all have a little bit of value in the hand. The 9-so might be the least likely to be used though, so out it goes. And Jeffrey will call that into Ishanten. Kutsuki Ishanten, sort of sticky one away when you've got your pair, your sequences all set, or your blocks all set, and a pair. And you're just trying to find one more block, and a tile can stick onto either that 4-so or the 7 mod. Now the situation's changed after dropping this 2. Trying to defend a little bit against this dealer Ricci, which again, we're not surprised to see dealer the first attempt by here. Super strong start. Actually had a choice here. Could have declared Ricci with the 1 or 4 pin, waiting on 5-8 for Ricci Pinfu, but intentionally chose the weight with less Yaku because he thought the 1 pin would be a stronger out, and typically it is stronger. We'll see if it wins though, because Jeffrey has found Tempai pushing the So tiles. Oh, Con? No, okay, let's that one pass. Not the strongest spot to Con. Although you do have Yakuhai Door 2, potentially 3. Don't know, will Ray shove the Dora for Tempai? Could also go with a 5 instead, and still maintain Tempai without having to drop a Dora. 5 definitely feels a little safer. But the 4 is a better weight. What will happen? It's the 5. Okay, Ray dodges, dealing in. And the 2 comes out! That's Ipatsu! Ricci Ipatsu Dora 2. And Ray is looking at another Mongon. Wow. Dylan had a great hand. You're a little sad the 1 pin didn't come out before you had to deal in if you're Dylan, but such is Mahjong. And for Ray, this is a gorgeous start. 46,000 points in first place. Looking strong in this one. Jeffrey now the dealer. East 4. High Pie has completed shape a couple pairs and hoping to pair up the tone for double East. On the right though, Ray, another very interesting looking hand. 2 Anko complete in the Manzu and a couple pairs. And one of those Ankos, by the way, is the 9 Mandora. Considering calling Pone, I mean, that's a very standard thing to do. That Ray could have also been dreaming a little bit about Suanko, but in this position, just confirming Yakuhai Dora 3 seems quite strong. And Ishanten already for Ray. This is going to be another monster. Could be 3 Mongon hands in a row. 6 pin is a slight upgrade on the 3 pin. I don't mind cutting said 3 pin there, but 7 also a valid way to move this hand. All the tile acceptance is in the Pinzu though. 5 so is normally a good floater, but we've already dropped to the 6 so. And that means there's potential 2d10 draws as well. So out goes the 5. I'm not even really looking at all these other hands. I just want to see if Ray gets Tempai. This 2-mon could be useful. 3-pin, very efficient cut there, but still likes this pin shape. On the left, Dylan has 789 Sanchoku-chan, which would be monstrous, but the 9-mon is being held, and this is Tempai. It's a good weight Tempai too on the 1-4. Now, this is the 1-4 that failed Dylan. Will it be the same for Ray? Second call for Elwin into Tanyao Ishanta, and that 4-pin is locked in hand. Jeffrey's 1-pin doesn't need to come out either. Dylan's 1-pin is acting as the pair in the hand, so that does not need to come out. And that means Ray will be counting on the tiles that are in the wall here. There are 1 of each tile in this weight left in the wall. Elwin looking for 258 pin. That 7 doesn't really help Dylan, but hold on for the time being. Ooh, this might change things. There's too many pairs for Jeffrey, so you can go 4-mon, 4-mon. He might be a little concerned about the Pinsu, given that Ray hasn't discarded any yet. The 8 will come out. Now, Elwin Tempai and 2-5 pin. Not many of those tiles in the wall either, 1 of each. So it's 2 versus 2. Tanyao Nomi versus East Dora 3. Notably Dylan as well. Ishanten for Junchan Sanchoku. Oh, that's Tempai for Jeffrey as dealer. 50-10 on the 1-4 so. And that's why he hasn't slammed a reach yet. Says, you know what, I don't care if I'm 50-10. I need to take this fight. 1 so is gone. 4 so also only 1 in the wall. So drawing to 1 tile that needs to be a Tsumo.
Come.
Ray Khans! Wow! Flips the 7-mon. That doesn't help anyone here. Except for potentially the reach player if they Tsumo. Oh, the 4!
Dom.
And that will deal into Ray for the Mongon. And that is indeed back to back to back Mongon hands for Ray, who is now sitting at 55,000 points. And will take the dealership. South 1. Saipai is really decent for a Richi. We've got nice floating tiles. We'll see if Ray can draw connectors to those floaters. On the right, there could be Itsu chance in the Monzu. And of course, the Door 4-mon is certainly welcome in hand. Across the way. Classic Pinfu. We're in the south rounds to the east, acting as a pair. Be a non-fu pair, meaning you can use it for Pinfu. On the left, looks like it'd also just be a Richi, maybe Richi Pinfu for Jeffrey. No one holding 3-door this time. Pretty close in terms of these hands' speed. Ooh, 8-mon draw, sweet for Elwin. Makes that Itsu look really realistic. Unfortunately, right now, the 1-mon is acting as the pair in the hand, and you have an overflow of Diabin shapes elsewhere. So, the most likely end result of this hand is just Richi Pinfu Dora. But you know what, that's pretty good, especially when you're in second place, and any positive result is good for you. Jeffrey fills one of these Diamond shapes, now 2 away from Tempai. Drops away from the 5-pin. Maybe this is a play for Chanta as well.
Each.
Oh, but there's the 5, and we're going to see Arichi probably on the 2-mon, waiting for 6-9 mon. Richi, Pinfu Dora, as expected, and a strong weight as well. Ray can go 9-pin, 9-pin, and defend against this Ricci. That 9-mon does not fit in Dylan's hand. We'll find the safe 6-pin first, though. Still 4 tiles in the well for Itsumo. And Ray could try the 7-pin. There are 3 6s out. 6 was a tile discarded pretty recently. Pretty close to the Ricci. Goes with the 8 instead. That ends up being safe here. And if enough of these 8s come out, there's potential that the 9 will look safer. Ray can actually consider fighting with his hand now. Ishantan.
Sumo.
Ah, but Sumo happens. The 9-mon comes in. Or Dylan Ricci Tsumo Piftora. Ura would be Mangan. And hits. Alright, the streak of Ray Mangans has finally ended. And notably, that is Elwin, the closest competition, picking up that Mangan Sumo on Ray's dealership, a net swing of 12,000 points. So Elwin has a chance to chase Ray down in this one. Saipai also looks pretty decent. That 8-9 pin penchant, not so sad when it gives you a chance at Itsu. No Dora, though. Dora is the 1-mon. On the right, one completed shape and several decent blocks. I'm kind of thinking of this second 6-mon as a floating tile because none of the other tiles are amazing floaters. Just the 2-mon holding for the door acceptance. Jeffrey across the way has the West pair. Declines the first one, but might call the second one. Jeffrey kind of wants to win more than just West only, or West Dora 1. Being in 4th place. On the left, Ray with very standard Ping Fu. Could have considered calling that 4-mon to shift in the direction of Tanya, but with 7-8 mon in hand versus the 5-7 Kanchan, neither of those look amazing. If you could have predicted that the 6 and the 4 would come out, I think Ray would have been a little bit more happy to open up. But unless there's someone out there who has the ability to see the future, I suspect that most players would not take that call. Ooh, South draw is very interesting. Now Jeffrey could think about shifting this to Honitsu with 2 Yakuhai. But Elwin's making good progress in the dealer hand. Filling in that 6-0 is great for a Tanya Pinfu chance. Again, that 4-mon comes out.
Boom.
But this time it's Elwin who says, this is Tanya, and these are good shapes. Aiming for the dealer repeat here. Second Dora means that Jeffrey will not be going for Honitsu almost certainly, but it also means that opening up for double Yakuhai Dora 2 is extremely valid, and South will be instantaneously called. Will be called instantly. And West only cut once, so could see the second Yakuhai call as well. Even pulling on the Dora would be the same value. If you manage to call the West and the 1-mon, and you can wait on the 1-pin Tonki, then you'll get the 6-han for Hanemon. You shot that on the right for Dylan. Could be a 4-5-6 Sancho. That would be some value. Notably, all of the Dora in the wall outside for the pair in Jeffrey's hand. Ooh, that 6-0 is actually useful. Opportunity for Dylan to drop the 9-so instead and shift this into a Tanyao.
G.
Ray also trying to speed this hand up at least try to find a Tenpai, as all the 4 mons got discarded or called, so the 3-5 shape no longer had any purpose.
Each.
Here's that Ricci with the Sanchoku chance. Oh wait, there's no Sanchoku because all the 4s are gone, so it's just a Penchon essentially. Waiting on the 7 mon, which is thrice cut. Oh, that's not a good wait. In the meantime, Jeffrey has Tenpai with Yakuhai, Chanta, and Dora 2 will also be +1 Han for regardless of whether the West of the 1 mon comes out, but mon gone regardless. And this value is worth fighting for, especially against your direct competition. Jeffrey's going to be slamming anything. Elwin dancing around. Still can find Tenpai with Tanyo. That is Tenpai. Atosuke, waiting 1-4. Oh, doesn't take it. Yeah, forces a little bit of a push. Decides to just bow away from this. And actually, we will go to Ryukyoku. 2 Dora locked away in the wall. And the final West in the wall. All 3 winners for Jeffrey just gone. And the West would have come out, I'm certain. So very unfortunate for Jeffrey to have so many winners just locked away in the dead wall. For Dylan in South 3.
Home.
Gonna want to collect that Ricci stick back and make as many points as he can. Having a 2-pin as an alternate pair means that eventually he could go 1 mon, and try to play for Tanyao if he's feeling desperate. Looks like it'll be a bit of a challenge to put this hand. Oh well, never mind. Just draw an Onko. Now you're just set. Just drop the 2. So we've got 3 blocks. Not all amazing ones, but one of them's holding a door. The 5-7 pin. 789 is a Diamond. 668 is an upgraded Kanchan. So definitely some options here. Now you could even 1 mon and make that Tanyao play. On the right, I'm seeing 4 pairs, but also good pin shapes. Just looking for a 2-pin to complete all of those sequences. Across the table, Ray is attempting a Honitsu. On the left, that looks like a very standard Ricci pinpin maybe. Dora is confirmed in hand for Elwin. And it's South 3, so Ricci pinfu Dora, even if it's just 3 Han, is very good progress towards catching up to Ray, especially with the Ricci stick and Homba in the middle of the table, adding to the value of the hand. Tenpai for Dylan on the door indicator 6-pin, not willing to take this Ricci. That's understandable, given that the door indicator typically doesn't come out very easily, and 2 of them are already gone. So you're looking for 2 tiles that people don't like to discard, versus there are a lot of upgrades in this hand. 8-pin will give you a diamond shape. 7-pin gives you 2 Dora. Obviously, if you draw the 6-pin, you Sumo. 4-pin gives you a diamond at least, even if it involves dropping the Dora. 6 mon gives you Tanyao. So it's a lot more tiles to potentially upgrade the hand. Certainly more than the number of 6-pins that you can expect to see. We'll see a Ricci from Jeffrey, though. Waiting on the 2-pin for Ricci Dora 1. And 3 of those 2s are held by Dylan. Tough ask to find the last one. Dylan's still holding this Tenpai, though. Ray calls into Tenpai. A Tenpai with a Yaku, waiting on the Haku for Honitsu only. There's the last 2 pin, but that fits into Elwyn's hand. Elwyn's actually Tempai there, but Furitan. And the Haku's drawn. And that will go Ray's way. Jeffrey cannot catch break in this game. And that's really important for Ray. The gap should be big enough that it's very difficult to lose your first place without dealing indirectly to Elwyn or giving up a large hand to the dealer. So, for Ray, you just play fairly comfortably in this hand. Now, for dealer, different story. You really need to fight for something here. Pai is very average. Values this east, which makes sense. If it hasn't come out yet, there's a decent chance that it's in the wall. Trying to find a path to some sort of value. With a hand like this, might just be looking for any Tempai. 789 Sancho is a possibility. I think this one Mon is the most efficient play. I think Jeffrey was holding it just in case it turned into some type of Junchan. But at this point, this is just Ishantan with Sanchoku chance. So we'll just play out the one. Dylan, in the meantime, just trying to end this game, opening up on the Haku on the left. Pei is the Dora, so it could be Yakuhai Dora 2 or even 3. As all of the Dora outside of that one in Dylan's hand are in the wall. His hand not really moving that quickly. Elwyn across the table, also with some awkward shapes. Now, given the current standings, Elwyn does have some incentive to win a hand and take a positive second. Adding 12 points to his current score is pretty significant. So even if he just has to open up for 4, 5, 6 Sanchoku only, that might be worth it. Reconsidering calling for Tanya here. Let's hit pass. Two Mon draws is kind of interesting. It overlaps with the 4-5 already, so not necessarily the most useful. But Jeffrey will play out the 9 Mon instead, hold a different type of Ishanten. One that relies on drawing the 3 and 6 Mon.
Boom.
It looks like Elwyn is making that play. Starts with a 2-pin call. Ishanten for Sanchoku. And it's a confirmed Sanchoku either, so it will never be Furitan. But you can't drop the 6 and still go for that. So perhaps I'm gonna try for Tanyao instead, cutting the 9-9 eventually.
Each.
Oh, ideal draw for Jeffrey. It's the 3 Mon. Now, Diamond, wait, Richie, Penfu. 3-6 Mon. There's one tile on the wall for the wait. And this is where Ray is a little concerned. Again, the conditions were don't deal into Elwyn and don't deal into the dealer. Ray so far Doing a good job of defending. 9-mon Genbutsu, 2-mon looks pretty safe. 4-pin, sorry, 2-pin looks pretty safe. 4-pin is Nakasuji. Hatsu is Genbutsu. Forso also Nakasuji. 3-pin Genbutsu. I wonder if Dylan will be able to convert this Honitsu. Seems difficult given the Dora still hasn't come out yet. Monso Genbutsu. Goes with the 8-pin instead. Also pretty safe. And it'll be Ryukyoku Jeffrey, the only player Tenpai, will retain the dealership. And another hand that's going to be a struggle, but got points out of the last one. Just needs to keep that up. Even one small hand, if you hit Dylan directly, could be enough to get you out of fourth. You just have to survive one more. On the right, Ray looks like that hand will be a struggle too. Across the way, lots of So tiles, but only singletons of the honors. Still, looks like Elwin will be playing for Honitsu. And on the left, that is a very strong hand. Very classic hand for Pinfu. Potential Dora as well. Potential Tanyao. Jeffrey's got all the blocks he needs now. Just needs to fill these bad shapes. Or improve them. Force was a good draw. Right, 2 away from Tenpai, but with bad shapes. Ooh, 7's interesting for Dylan. Gives up on the Itsu chance. Makes sense because we kind of overblocked for that anyway. We're just looking for a pair, really. That hand is Ishantan. Oh, Tenpai.
Each.
Will slam the Richi Pinfu. Potential Dora. Hitting 1-4 pin, where 1 pin is the Dora. All the 4s have been drawn now. And Ray's probably pretty happy if Dylan wins this hand. Just bow away most likely. 1-so. Jeffrey's trying to work around this as much as possible. This 6-pin draw gives a route to Tanyao. Even something like Tanyao Pinfu Ipeiko. Ishantam. 9-pin doesn't look that bad. Elwin is just getting out of here. Oh, that could be a call to Tenpai. Do you just take it? Not a good wait, but Tenpai is Tenpai. We'll let it pass. Ooh, now has to pass the 3 and the 7-mon. Neither look good. Goes with the safe 6 instead. We'll try to Mawashi around a little bit more. Back to Ishantam. 3-mon passes. And that means that this is a very wide Ishantam. But it also means that the most likely drawn to Tenpai will be Furiten, and also... Oh, could chi this into Furiten Tenpai, but deal in. Lets it go, though. Another door for Ray. Goes with the 8, so I think 3 was safe. So Tempai again. Could drop the 8 pin. The 8 pin's one chance.
1.
Slam or reach its 10. It does take the safer weight though. Dropping the 4 pin would give Pinfu as well. But I think safety takes priority here. All these winning tiles for Dylan being drawn by players who are defending, which means we might be going to Ryukoku. It looks like that is going to happen. Jeffrey hangs on, dancing around this Dylan Ricci, and manages to get back into Tempai. Refusing to let South 4 end. 3 Ricci sticks, 2 Homba. And Jeffrey hanging on by a thread. Another high pie that is... Okay, this is probably the best high pie that Jeffrey's had so far in this dealership. So maybe this is the hand that will be a winner. Does drop the door out first turn. Elwin also immediately follows, says, you know what, I don't need door, I just need to win a hand. Ray is technically 2 away from Tempai. Needs to fill a couple Kanchan shapes. Elwin can open up here. That's the second east. Is that?
Home.
Yeah, size. Let's go. We can do Honitsu if we need to. Yakuhai Haku as well to just confirm a Yaku. Will be called right now. With the door being discarded like this, you pretty much confirmed that it has to be a Honitsu. Or could this be something like Suiso? Is that even live here? South has 2. Oh, South is not live. North? Technically live? Hatsu's in the wall as well. I mean, Elwin could get a little crazy here, but Ray's going to take a Ricci. And that will make Elwin pump the brakes. Out goes the North. Jeffrey, though, that's Tempai. Are we going to see a fight?
1.
Yeah, 1 pin slam is going to be non-3-so versus the 2 pin. 2 pin has 2 in the wall for Ray. And for Jeffrey, there's no south in the wall. 3-so has 1. It's 1 versus 2. Elwin playing safe for now, but might have to drop the south out. And now Jeffrey's weight completely held. We'll be relying on someone discarding it. With all these 5s coming out, the 3 might not look too bad. South comes out first. And this is the hand Jeffrey was looking for. Ricci, no Uda, but 39, and all the sticks again. That will jump Jeffrey into 3rd place overall. And opens up to this high pie. That's okay. You might have done enough. You might have done enough. This hand looks so difficult to win, but great play getting back into 3rd here. And since Elwin dealt indirectly, he's in danger of falling below 30,000. Still temporarily safe for now, but a lot of sumos will drop you below. On the right, Ray's hand looks a little bit better. Nice 6-man draw as well, improving the shapes further. It looks like it could even call down for Tanyao. Dropping the Dora. Across the way, Elwin also pretty decent pairs. 3 pairs. Could shift into Tanyao with a 1-mon cut, or just slam a Ricci. And on the left, we've got a little bit of a tricky hand. 9-so finally comes out from Ray. See if anyone chooses to follow. Jeffrey also a bit saddled with this Dora. Drops the 9 pin. Tune pair for Elwin. That makes 4 pairs now. But Tune being callable is a welcome sight. I think Elwin's content to win any hand here. 7 pin there instead of 1 mon allows you to hold all of the blocks. But it's also fairly normal to slim down your shapes. Ooh, we will see the Ricci from Ray. It is Ricci, Tanyao, Pinhu. 5-8 mon, 3 in the wall. Jeffrey can probably eat at sumo and still maintain 3rd place, so he's playing pretty cautiously, especially with the tiles in hand. Not very good. Will Elwin try to fight? It's probably the closest to being able to fight, but has this 5 mon that would deal in. Jeffrey has a route to just back into a tempai here. If he just continues to draw all the deal-in tiles. Which he's doing. All Ray's outs now held. Jeffrey Ishanten. All the 7 pin are gone, are in hand, but 8 so is in the wall, all 3 of them. Sorry, no, that's Elwin's got 2, so only 1 8 in the wall, but Elwin actually finds tempai on the 4. Or mon. Now Jeffrey, a route to discard away from this Dora shape. Could even call into tempai here for K10. Lets the 3 so pass. I think the K10 call is good with 10 draws remaining. All the weights for both players held. And the question is, could Jeffrey find tempai? And it looks like it's not going to happen. So that means Ryu Kyoku with dealer not tempai. However, Dylan could not find tempai either, and that means that at the end of the game, it will be Jeffrey taking the 3rd place here. Minus 17.1. Dylan takes negative 29.6 4th. Elwin positive 7.1 second, and Ray, big result for Ray, plus 39.6. I think is going to move Ray out of the relegation zone. And there it is, already updated on our screens. Negative 88.4. Oh, just barely in the zone, but much better position. And that's 3 players just touching each other. 87.5, 87.6, 88.4. Just barely safe is Damas and Michael. Temporarily safe, we'll say. And more games to come. Okay, looks like there's a little bit of a break before the next game is going to go live. 4 minutes away from the start of that one. So perhaps we'll take a quick break as well and maybe add more commentary. We'll be back in a few. All right, we're back for game number 2, and I'm joined with the one and only Korak. How's it going? Maybe we have Korak? In theory, we do.
Things could be better, things could be worse. You know how things are.
Well, fortunately, rather than thinking about A1 and all that has to entail, we've got this lovely B3 game to watch.
Yeah,
Ray,
Ray not quite out of demotion yet, but certainly close there. There's a bunch of games left. So 7 games, you're not really worried about. I just want your situation. And even from here, you have enough games to make it back to first place. But dealer is Ray with a Pinfu, maybe an Itsu here. I have a couple of threes here. So I know the Doko Dream, one of your personal favorites, but I'm not seeing it yet. On the right, we have Chun Pair, maybe even Honitsu with all those pin tiles. That's definitely the plan, cutting the 8 over that 7-8 across the way. Nice little Honitsu, maybe Chanta Ipeiko. I mean, that's value for sure. Unlikely to keep it closed, but if you can, that is like easy buy mon.
yeah, Yakuhai calls pretty tempting.
And on the left, the other Chun pair, so have fun with that one. And other than that, just a pretty standard hand. Dora, decent shapes. Going to be hard to get Sanjiku, but a quick shift if, say, you draw the 4-pin. The problem is that 4-pin for the 4-5-6 Sanjiku would likely end up causing you to throw Dora, so that's never ideal.
I guess since the 456 Sanchoku is probably going to be confirmed at that point, reaching on the 5 so itself, you're not really that sad about the sacrifice. But if you draw the 5 so first,
well, you just cut the 8, you don't even think about it. Oh, and we're seeing Ray get closer to that Itsu. I think you have to cut probably 3 so here. Yeah, there it goes.
It looks like Elwin is committing to the Honitsu on the right. It means the 7-pin's in pretty high demand between these two players. Of course, being Dora also is generally wanted by most players. And there's a 5 so draw.
You just cut the 8. You go Ishunton here. Instead of to throw the Hatsu thing, there's a whole lot of upgrades, and it doesn't matter. You're just 3-sided. You hit button. It is Furitan, though. I don't care. I hit button. That's going to be the play here. It is Furitan on the 2-5-8. And immediately 2 comes out. You're like, wait a second.
Well, this is technically temp by... Sumo. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Just Sumo. Easy game. Richiapatsu, Sumo, Dora, Mongon. Dora would be Hanemon. Gets 1, does nothing. But you're not going to complain about that, Mongon. So nice little pickup there for Elwin.
Yeah, especially after the way the last game went. Jeffrey's really happy to start the game with the Mongon.
All right, Ellen is dealer here. Pretty standard Pinfu type hand. 6-0 would really help this hand out. 3-pin as well on the right. A bit of a mess. It's Pinfu type shapes, but it's a long way off. You have the 3-3-6-7, which is okay, but everything else is just a disaster. Across the way, see the pay has been called, so almost certainly going Chanta with that. I don't really see any other Yaku. I guess maybe you could pair up the Haku, but then you're probably going Chanta Haku anyway. And on the left, a whole bunch of Mon tiles. Could go Itsu, could go Honitsu. It's very much a wait and see what happens. But you have that, one of my least favorite shapes, that 8-9, where the 8 is Dora, meaning the 7 that you need is the Dora indicator.
Yeah, that's really rough. And looks like the 7 only has 2 in the wall. At least it has 2 in the wall.
Well, just fill an Anko. Now you're Ishan 10 for Dora 1. Need 7-pin and 7 Mon. Oh, well, there's our Haku pair up across the way. Ishan 10 now. I mean, you just cut Chun. You could go with the 1-pin, but there is the Chun. And you just call the 7. You're a little sad if you get this. Oh, wait, no, you can't call the 6.
Yeah, not really.
Because you wouldn't have that Yaku yet. You're going to have to maneuver around with that Haku.
So you either
nice fill in there for dealer.
Call the Haku or wait for the 9, so...
Could cut the 1-pin here, and I think I probably would. Take the 1, 2, 3, 4, because you can end up on that Nobeton if the Chanta just doesn't fill in.
Yeah, if you had something like an upgrade to Junchan, if you paired up the 1 and cut the Haku pair, then maybe, but you've already called the North, so the Junchan isn't possible.
Well, not conning for flow, so doesn't believe much in this hand.
Yeah, it does feel like there's not a lot of value here, so maybe You want to con to create value.
No, I
But
definitely cut the 1 pin there and just sit on the north. And
mhm.
if we draw it ourselves, we go ahead and con or tempai.
Yeah, especially if you get the 7 pin, you can. Oh, actually, Rinshan,
Oh,
on the
sure.
6
Then you
0.
could Rinshan as your Yaku. That's infuriating to play against, but it does work.
Oh, here's that 1 pin draw though.
Oh, just pair up the 1. Now the question is, do you lock in the Chanta cutting 7-8, or do you take the good shapes and cut the 8-9?
It makes sense to go 8-9 in my opinion because you can still call the Haku and have a good weight.
Oh, we have Tempai on the left. I imagine you switched the button there. Richi Dora 1 waiting on 7-1.
Oh, and the 7-1 stuck in Dylan's hand right now.
Oh, 5's clear. Ooh, it probably is getting out of here at this point. That 3-mon not great, but it's not terrible here. The problem is that 8's right next to that 9 that just came out. You're like, why do you still have a 9? Oh, well, it's going to be a chase. The question is, you take the 4-10. We'll take the 4-10 and Dama. Oh, we have Tempai across the way. Fills in the Haku. You have to just throw the 3 in. And there it is, waiting on 7-pin. There is one of those left. Versus the 7-mon, where there are 2 of them left. Well, there's your last 7-pin. Have fun with this.
Dylan keeps drawing the Dylan tile immediately after they get Tempai for it.
Well, it's better than the person you're facing drawing it.
Elwin backing away from this Hiriten Tempai. Still has some draws towards Tempai again.
Pretty nice E-shunt in here for Elwin. Could also Eddie Peiko. Some awkward Cheetoy are possible too, but that seems unlikely.
Or it was
that
Cheetoy.
5 could have technically been pwned for Tempai.
Yeah, I wonder with what, I guess there are 15 draws left. Might have been time to consider that.
Oh, there's the 7, so just 1 left of those. Oh, it's 6-mon is terrible. Yeah, it just says, nope, we've had our fun. That's good enough.
Yeah, I was willing to push the 3 side of the 369, but the 6 of the 369 is part
Will
of the...
often deal into a Dora shape, and it is in fact a Dora shape, but not that one. There's the last 7, and you're looking at this and going, boy, I wonder if I blocked someone. Hey, I blocked someone!
So Ray will pick up the 3,000 points, and that will put Ray in second place, but...
Second place, and I mean, you're fine with that. Even if you sumo, you only get 4,000 anyway. So dealer here is going to be Dylan, maybe Honitsu with this, especially if you get that 2-pin, which is Dora here. Just call up for Honitsu. Dora 1 seems fine. On the right, kind of a Pinfu hand, but needs some fills. You do have a floating Dora. Well, not really floating. A 1-2-4 with a 2-beam Dora. Not great. There's the East. That's going to be called. On the left by Elwin. Across the way, Pinfu and much better Pinfu and 2-3-4 Sanchoku looking very good. I know your personal favorite.
Absolutely. Best Sanchoku.
And on the left, as mentioned, we have the East call, and there's a door. What are you going to do now? Because that's kind of an awkward everything. Going to cut from the 1-3. This creates floaters everywhere. 3-mon's a floater, 2 pins a floater, 6 pins a floater, and you have no other shapes that are completed.
Yeah, I mean... It is pretty crazy to throw the Dora back, but...
Well, I think you have to either
okay
throw the
too.
2-pin or the 6-pin.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with either, honestly. And now I just threw the Dora for sure. Well, yeah, I guess the 3, since you already cut the 1. Ooh, dealer getting very close here. Could also be Itsu if you draw the 9-pin or even the 2-pin.
Yeah, 2-pin would be a monstrous draw here. 3-sided with Itsu chances.
But there is a Tempai across the way. The aforementioned 2-3-4 Sanchoku being the goal here. It is Richi Pinfu Dora, but that 4 is also Tanyao Sanchoku.
Oh, the +3 Han upgrade. There are 2 4-pins in the wall.
Dealer may get scared here. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to just keep the Ishan 10 here. I think I just shove the 3. This hand's too good.
Although with the third 9-pin coming out makes it a little bit less likely to get the maximum
Yeah,
value.
now I wouldn't mind folding out. And it does it the exact opposite. Throws the 7 to get around and then throws the 3. Just trying to dodge a Potsu there.
Now only one of each tile on the wall for the 1-4 pin.
Your alternative, you could have also just thrown the 7, so since it was Suji.
Mm-hmm. That does give you some pretty decent Mawashi options. Usually when you drop the pair, you can just find a pair somewhere else. Even whatever
Well, especially
dangerous
if you already
tile.
have a pair in your hand,
Mm-hmm.
tends to make things a lot easier. But we're really looking for that 4 pin. There's one of those left. On the 1 pin, still the cheap end, but Ray certainly would complain about it. There's one of those as well.
And Elwin being the open player at this. Oh, there's another
Well,
1
there's
pin.
the last 1 pin.
It's okay. Takame's still in the wall.
It's fine.
It's one tile. Who people draw the last tile on the wall all the
Oh,
time.
well, I mean, if you shove the 4, do it. But I think you're just going to throw the. Yeah, I just fold out at this point for sure.
Elwin being the open player will have a more difficult task folding here, and now has drawn a pair of Dora. So
Yeah, you're just shoving at that point. Like, I'm not really seeing a good path to folding anyway. The 6 is okay now that the 3 passed. But the 8, it's like, what else is your plan? And there goes the 8, and there's your last 4. Dealer definitely could have gotten into trouble there calling for K10 because that'd throw that 1 pin out. But we know the weight's dead at this point.
oh, that's Ishanten with draws left.
Ishanten, interestingly, the last Dora is already locked in a hand. Otherwise, you'd be really happy to draw it if you're right. Throw Dora and you go, oh no, as it get pulled, and then the 4 comes right out.
Right.
Instead, just folding there on the left. Elwin doesn't want to really fight this. Could have kept the Ishanten, but probably reading the 4-5 is really bad. Ray will have the last draw, but as we mentioned, doesn't matter.
That means after this discard Ryukoku. Guaranteed.
And Ray's definitely gotten to Tempai a bunch. That's not been the problem. It's been finishing. He was doing that all of last game, and not so much this time.
Yeah, all you can do though is put yourself in position.
Yeah, that's always the struggle in Mahjong, is if the tiles don't come, the tiles don't come. But we have Elwin as dealer here. A bit of a messy hand. You're eventually going to probably turn into a pinfu, but like there are a couple pairs and a 2-2-3 is your best shape. Just, on the right, much better there, but not much value. I guess you can use a Dora, that being the 7-mon. The Penchon 8-9, not nearly as bad when the 7 is the Dora as opposed to the 8, because then you're just fishing for Dora. Across the way, that is Ishanten, I believe. Yeah, it would just be Richinomi, though, so you may be trying to get some value out of that. You have the 1-2-4-4-4, so honestly, the 1 pin kind of a duplicate here, unless you want to use that as the Anka, which is normal given you already have your pair with the 2s, but may try and turn that into a Tanya or something later. And on the left, 1-2-3 Sanshoku, trying to, especially there's your fill, could also hedge towards the Itsu. That's going to be the play, cutting the 8 pin, and you can also still hedge towards accepting Dora with the 6-mon Dora indicator.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot for Elwin. Drawing the 3-mon. Has been floating the 5 for so long, trying to draw towards the Dora. Especially 6-mon would be a great pickup.
Oh, I don't know about that 8 so cut. I think the normal cut there is either 2-mon or 6-mon.
Yeah, I think
But this is the greedy play. The I really, really want Sanshoku, and I'll take Dora.
right. Yeah. 100%. Interesting, Elwin eventually cutting away from the 2-mon here as the 3 got pulled in. There is a slight worry about 50-10, I guess, if you hold the 2 as your pair and try for a Totsu. So just confirming the diamond shape, or just holding for the door chance.
Now, together here, we're actually working towards Chitoy at this point. You see 5 pairs. Oh, never mind. I actually don't like that 9. I just cut the 7. Chitoy, never a hand I'm ever in favor of, but you need to keep it as an option because you're not making his hand any faster. That's actually a fold play, cutting the 9 pin there. And I don't think that's the plan with these shapes.
Ray's got some spicy shapes on the right, though.
Well, see, there's your Cheetoy. So I guess you could have gone Tanya Cheetoy and you would have actually gotten that. Well, I guess you cutting the 9 pin, it wouldn't have been there, but still Ishan 10, again, back for that Cheetoy. And interesting, across the way is going to stay headless. Normal, after throwing that 1 pin earlier, you'd often just use the 4 as an Onko, because especially you could just pair up the 7 or something, and then wait on a
Peach.
very nice 5-8 shape. But there's our Tempai on the left. Greeting for Sanjuku eventually gets there. Waiting for the 3 pin. Riichi Sanjuku, there is one of those left.
Oh,
And there's our Tanya across the way. That was the shape you were looking for from the very early on.
I think Ray's going to fight with the 1, so yeah. Still very wide Ishantan for Ray. Even without any Dora.
Well, it can play towards a Suonko, although not too many draws left at this point. Could see a Chi for Tempai here.
Chi.
That's going to be the play. This is Tanyao Nomi waiting on 8-mon 7 pin.
I think normally Ray wouldn't call that, but with 3 Riichi sticks and 2 home bus, the value's worth it at this point.
Oh, well, draws a Dora. Would be 4-10. The 7 is safe, so just going to throw it back. Good disciplined play. So many times you say, it's Dora, I can't throw it, and then you mess up and realize you 4-10 and dealt in. Could switch this weight, but the 6 is just 1 left. Yeah, and we know where it is.
Yeah, really relying on Elwin to play Genbutsu 6 pin here and just fold out, but 6 mon is gonna come out first.
Dealer will not make Tempai. Eight is perfectly safe. Could Chi this, but it wouldn't be Tempai, so there's no reason to. We're just going to have the players on left and right Tempai getting 1,500. Ray extending the second place and getting close to first, but now 3,900 in the middle. And in very good position here.
I think that's the 3rd consecutive hand where Ray was Tempai, and it went to draw.
All right, I got to grab something, so you take over this hand.
Got it. It is Ray in the dealer seat back in the South round. As you said, lots of sticks in the middle. Very juicy pot, and Ray's got a great high pie for trying to fight for it. Could end up cutting all of these terminal tiles and moving towards a Tanya to try to speed things up, but these shapes are just amazing to play for a Riichi. On the right, Elwin also not too bad. Pair locked in hand and some diamond shapes in the middle of each suit. Across the way, it is Dylan. Shapes are a little bit worse. Kanchan, and the Manzu and the Sosu. But if you just fill the Kanchan shapes, it's not so bad. And if you draw the 5, so you can even think about a 3-4-5 Sanchoku. Ishan 10-4, Dylan for an early Riichi. And on the left, Jeffrey with Pinfu type shapes and overblocked in terms of the geometry. We'll probably have to cut one of those away pretty soon. Potentially the 6-7 pin because that overlaps with the 3-4, and the 3-4 has chances at Sanchoku. Right in the meantime, Yishantan looking for a pair. Pair and 8-so. This is the 8-so is twice cut. Could even just go back with the, say, the 9-so here and try to move towards a Tanyao. Be
Interesting there, Ray breaking away from this, trying to go for the Tanyao, I guess. Normally just cut the 7 pin, but or even the 9-7 so.
Yeah, trying to confirm that pair. I really personally would just want to get rid of this 9-so And maybe even keep the 8 for a 6-pin Shi for Tanyao.
We have a Dama across the way. No Yaku looking for the upgrade to Sanshku at that 3-4-5.
This is something that we've seen Dylan do in the first game of the series as well. Doesn't really like to take bad weight Ricci, especially when there's an upgrade available.
Well, here it's just Ricci Nomi, but with 3,900 in the middle, I wouldn't care. I'd hit button. Plus, I mean, it's Hanzo.
How can you say no to Sanzo?
Chi.
Well, Jeffrey sees the plan. Just call for Tanyao.
Well, the pot makes a one-han hand into a 3-han hand, so it should always be part of consideration.
And normally people in the current meta are willing to open up for 3 Hans, so
Chi.
that means that this hand's worth opening up for, right? We'll need the 6-mon specifically. It looks like Dylan will have some trouble using it, so 2 drawing pools towards that tile.
Dealer Dempa, I should just slam it.
Yeah, I think if you're holding the 9 so this long, you should slam the Ricci.
Again, the 3,900 in the middle is really important here. You do see 2 8-so out, but it's not great. But you figure there's at least one in the wall, and they're just such an incentive to winning this hand.
Yeah, especially because like you can see 3 of the 7, so holding this Dama though allows for Tanyao calls 6-so, 2-so, 5-so all can be called.
Yeah, the problem is one of your upgrades is going to be Furry 10 anyway with that 2 so early.
Oh, 9-so means that the 7-so could follow soon. That would deal in. Oh, here's the 8. Unfortunate.
Yeah, and if you would have just slammed the button, that would have been a deal in for sure.
Oh, now we're going to have to contend with another chase. Now both tiles deal in. 5-pin and 7-so, no matter how you get Tempai, unless you specifically draw a 6-pin and cut the 7, and Dylan will chase. Says, I've waited long enough.
Ricci, Patsu, Pinfu, Sanshoku. Nora, but it is a Mungon, and with all those 6 in the middle, that's going to bring all the way into first place for Elwa. That's the hand was desperately needed.
Yeah, Dylan had also just drawn the 2-3-4 Sanchoku upgrade as well. That's what convinced him to take the Ricci.
Ellen with a complete mess of a hand. Penchon, floater, I guess 1 Ryonman, and that's your selling point in the hand. Into the trash it goes. On the right, Tanyao, maybe some sort of 6-8 Sanshoku developing there. Across the way, probably a pinfu hand. It's not great. You have decent shapes, though. 2, 3, 7, 7, 8 pin. Okay. The rest of it, though, anytime you have 2, 5, 8, 8 in the other suit, though, it's not great. That 3 will help, though, immensely. On the left, we have a south pair up. That is Yakuhai, as we're in south 2 now. And the rest of the hand, a bit of a mess. 2 Penchon, and I guess a Conchon with a 4-6, but you have 1 Ryanman. I think it's very much a call and go. You just wish you had that hand last time.
Yeah, and there's the call. Ray will be going. With this Titan scoreline now, 3 players above 30,000, just anything that keeps yourself in a position to win when you don't have a hand, worth staying close and taking a Ricci for, is a pretty decent play. And there's a Dora draw for Ray, so getting a little bit of extra value out of this could be Yakuhai Dora 1 for 2,000 points. And if you hit Elwyn directly, I mean, everyone's going to be within 1,000 points of each other at the top.
Yeah, Dylan's a bit back there, but we'll have another dealer turn after this.
Interesting hand for Dylan, though. Looks very, very Tanyao. And
well, the play is obviously 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku. It's a matter of getting there. Kind of ugly shapes, especially in pin. That, though, will help immensely.
2 away from Tempai now. 7-pin draw would be amazing right now for Dylan. And unfortunately, 7-pin is not very live. There's only 1 left in the wall. 5-pin?
Looks
okay.
like, well, there's your 5-pin. That'll do it. Yeah, it just gives up on the Sanshoku. There are routes to a 5, 6, 7, but it's much harder. Still, Ricci Pinfu, Tanyao, potentially Dora would be great.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6, another alternate option in the future, depending on the draws. Oh, that's just Tempa. You get to
Just
pick.
draw the Dora. The question is, which do you want? You have to slab this
1
one. You like the 3-6 or the 5-8? Takes the 5-8. I actually disagree with this, considering you see a 5-8.
Yeah, so there are fewer
Normally,
tiles.
the more outside weight is better, but the problem is you see the 5-8 here, and unfortunately, no, the 8 is completely dead.
And Ray even calling here, not going to drop the 8 mon so easily. Shunten for 1/4 so, and any of 5 mon, 6 mon, 8 mon. Actually, the entirety of this weight is completely locked up in hands or discarded. So,
So we see the correct answer was keep the 8-pin Tonki, which would have been a hell weight even.
Tempai for Ray, though, 6 mon, 8 mon, for going the 5 in this case. Also seems to be completely dead as well. 3-pin. You know, that the question of whether to take the weight that has not been discarded or the one that has been discarded is kind of interesting because in theory the person who's discarded doesn't need it anymore. So if they draw it, they will have to fold or deal into you. On the other hand, if you can't see any of a tile, it could be in the wall. It could also just be held by the other players.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate the 8 months held as a pair here, because that's obviously the tile you really expect to win on.
Yeah, and if Ray draws the 7, would just throw it back out
She'd
because
throw
it's
it back.
safe.
Yeah, 100%.
I was trying to see if you could drop the 8 for 50-10, but the 9 on the discard is just
My only
not worth it.
surprise 9-mon wasn't called. I'd have definitely taken that one. I'm a little worried about the life tune, though.
Yeah, that must be the reason that Jeffrey is holding the shape, holding the tune here. Elwin has been really hoping that Jeffrey would give up on it, but oh, second door, and Ray might have to give it up.
We saw the hesitation. She did not want to pass that, but felt she had to.
Yeah, maybe because it's the third 4 so, like now you can reconsider. Well, now it's only one chance, right? Maybe the 3 so is fine.
4-mon's Nakasuchi here. Throws the 3 and it passes. Dylan will pick up a net 2,000 off that hand. Close the gap a little bit here, but dealer turn, and this is where you need to make your stand. You're in 4th place, and a big silver here gets you all the way to 1st.
High Pie looks like it wants to be Richie Dora 1. Maybe P4 you can draw the 7 mon. Of course, having the Dora and a diamond shape, always really happy to see that. On the right, lots of pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs, and a Dora. Doesn't have to be a Chitoi hand, though. Especially if you draw the 3 mon, you can think about Ipeiko or even Dianpeiko if you're getting fancy with it.
Could even pull this. The problem is you have those extra floaters, so we'll plan on probably going to tie up at hedging towards Toy Toy here. For another Dora, you can definitely go Toy Toy.
Speaking of Toy Toy, Ray's considering calling his 3 mon, but says, no, I want Suanko. 2 Anko in hand already. And on the left, Elwin. Actually, that's just D-Shut then already. Richie Pinfudora. I don't think that's quite Tempai yet, not with a 2 so draw, but gives you a couple more outs. Allows you to draw 1 so for potentially Peiko.
Yeah, if you read that as the Intotu, it's a lot easier to understand. Intotu with an extra 1.
And of course, if you draw the 1-4, you've got that Tonki, which is not really where you want to be, but Door Tonki is something. If you didn't have a Yaku... Oh, wait. Ray drew another Anko. The 5 mon. Ishanten for
Ishanten, but that's going to be Tempai, and I imagine there's a Ricci. 1 pin eaten up, though, by Ray. 4 pin eaten up pretty well as well, so just 2 outs left.
Ray has 9 so Genbutsu. One mon looks pretty good. Oh, Tempai!
Tempai, this is an easy slam. Gonna Dama because the 3-mon. The problem is those ones are locked in Dylan's hand.
A Toy Toy Sananko, but the ones could come out if Dylan trusts Sotogawa. And now it's Suji. That is Jeffrey thinking about calling. Takes the call for Tanyao. And Dylan trusts the Suji.
Does deal in. That's going to be a Mongon. Sananko Toy Toy. I mean, you wish you get a little more out of that, but you're not going to complain. That's going to be Ray jumping into first place off the Dama there. Definitely the cheap way to win. You'd much rather have that sumo, but definitely going to take that and jump into the big first.
And with the point standings, it was so close that in South 4, just being ahead by 6,000 points is a big deal for Ray. I think that's a big reason why the Dama was chosen there.
Well, Jeffrey here as a call behind with the Haku. Other than that, not too much here. Maybe some sort of Sanshika around 4, 5, 6 later, but needs to fill in something in Monzu for that to happen on the right. That hand is trash. Are you just going Kokushi? That looks to be the play here with that 8 so cut. Dora cut first turn. That's a Kokushi play. Across the way, probably Tanyao, and you can't accept a Dora and just go Richidora 1, but it feels just like Tanyao. Try and lock up your second here, be done with the hand. And on the left, 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku or 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku. There are Ipeiko upgrades, there are Tanyao upgrades, but need something to connect to the 3 so regardless.
Ray's up to 9 unique in a pair. Has all the 1s and 9s, needs some of the honors. And the Haku might be the tough one. Jeffrey really looking to open up, and actually probably doesn't even want to see the Haku too early because the shapes are good enough for a Richi. I think that shape's good enough to pass the 3, so we don't need to be too aggressive too early. But
well, here it comes.
Now you gotta make a choice. Let's pass.
I'd take that one. I think the shapes are good enough as is. And there goes Dora right back out.
Yeah, I think this is
I don't really see Sanshoku upgrades here. I'm just pawning that, cutting the 5, and take my Ishan 10.
I feel like Jeffrey is pretty consistently past the first call in many situations, so it might just be their playstyle to try to stay close if at all possible.
Well, this should be the 5-mon.
That's just efficient to cut it at this point. Jeffrey agrees. Ray cannot stop pairing up these terminal tiles.
Boom.
Owns the 5 so. Going Honitsu. No, with the 5 so, that's not it at all. I don't like this at all. If you're not going to call the Haku, I don't think you can call that 5 so.
Yeah, maybe had second thoughts about it. Maybe decided now that we're here in the second row, I just need to do something because I'm feeling like I'm behind.
I also feel if you're going to do that, it'd make more sense if you still had that door in your hand, because then just go to Artanki with it.
Yeah, we'll see if the second Haku comes out. Oh, that is Ishanta now.
Boom.
Will be a good wait if the Haku comes out, though.
Pay Tonki, always a good wait.
Oh, or you could
Oh, there's the door Tonki I was talking about.
There's still a Dora. We could draw that and be 50-10. Realize that maybe and just throws it back. Yeah, Wendy Shanten for Tanyao. Not enough value to take over first from Ray, but will confirm second place. Oh,
Ray getting closer still. Ishanten needs Haku and Pei.
North. Yeah. There is
Could
one
call this for technically K10.
Oh,
going for Tanyao instead. And I'm thrilled with this, but whatever. Now we're going to see Tempai there. The 7 so can come right out. It will. That's going to be second place. As Elwin will secure that. Ray, the winner again this game with 40,800, 25.8. Ray is now officially out of demotion. In second place, Elwin with a 10.4. In third place, we have Jeffrey managing that 3.5. Not going to complain about that, even though it is third. Positive thirds never great, but way better than negative thirds. And Dylan's going to take the brunt of this, minus 39.7.
Now, fortunately for Dylan, as a substitute player, doesn't have to worry about losing points. And for the other three players, all with positive scores, will help them stave off relegation here. We're still awaiting that score update. Boom, there
Nope.
it is.
I think we're about to jump over to another table because we were looking for that C1-2 table, and they look like they started a while ago.
All right, so we will leave this table at their current state. All three players out of demotion zone for now, and will be continuing on their series. In the meantime, we've got C1-2, which has, I know Adam is one of those players. Oh, it's the table with
Adam, Ross, Remy, and Eric.
yeah, it's the No Yaku versus GG Easy. Who would win?
No Yaku, always the best way to play this game.
Okay, Remy, and who's the fourth player? Adam, Eric, Remy, and
Eric,
oh,
Ross.
Ross. Yes, that's right. It looks like they're still in East 2. Must have been a lot of repeats in the early portion of the game because we already see Adam at 44,900 and Remy at 39.5.
Yeah, so deal here is Ross with a Pinfu type hand. Needs to get some of these honors. Could even go Honitsu, but especially draw Door. I think that's out the window now. On the right, we have Remy with a bunch of pairs. Actually, Ishunten for Chito already. Well, speaking of Ishunten, we have Tempai on the left for Chun Door 1. Cross the way. Couple pairs there, but just not fast compared to the rest of these hands.
Yeah, I mean, Adam already Tempai with Yakuhai Dora. It's going to be tough for anyone to catch up here before Adam gets the win. And everyone looks so slow, except for potentially the Chitoi, which is Ishantan.
Well, that's the thing about Chito. It's Ishanten and Ishanten and Ishanten, and then the hand ends. So you're sad.
Yeah, Chitoi infamous for being a hand that can give you double reach, or a hand that can just leave you in Ishanten for the entirety of a game.
It's because the Ukiere in Ishanten for Chitoi is only 9, so it's basically the same as if you had Kanchan Kanchan.
And I always feel bad to have Kanchan Kanchan. At least you typically get work your hand towards bonuses with Chitoi. Specifically Dora. Or good end weights.
Well, we see on the left, Adam could have switched to a Tonki, but likes this weight.
Maybe could have considered cutting the 3 mon instead of the 6 there. That way, if he draws the Dora, can hold it.
Oh, there's a 5, and there it goes. That could be a deal in.
And as expected, Adam with the 2,000 points will send us into East 3.
Dealer here is Remy with a pin fu type hand, can accept a Dora 5-pin, maybe Tanya, although you have that 1, 2, and 7, 8. So I want to fill those in on the right. Shaw pair, one so pair. Yeah, it'll eventually probably turn toward Pinfu, although it could end up going Chitoi if these tiles keep coming the way they are. Across the way, whole bunch of Mon tiles. Could be Itsu, could be Honitsu. Could be both, of course, always fun. And on the left, that feels like a Kokushi hand, and that's definitely discards of a Kokushi.
Yeah, started with 8 and a pair, I believe, for Ross. And just moving that direction could end up being Chanta now that we've drawn a 7-8 shape in the Pinzu. Ooh, nice 2-pin fill. That's Ishanten for Remy for Ricci, Pinfu, Dora, potential Tanyao. It could be 3-sided if the 6-0 is drawn into Tenpai. But if you draw the 8-pin or 9-pin, you could consider dropping away from the overlapping diamond shape and also working towards Itsu. Specifically if the 8-pin is drawn, but there could be a world where you'd make the same play for the 9-pin as well. Oh, but here it is. That 6-0 drawn. Instantaneous Ricci. 3-6-9, or 3-6 gives Tanyao in addition to Ricci Pin Fedora.
Yeah, definitely one of the easiest ways to get to Mongon. And on the left there, the hand's kind of developing, but needs the pay still. There's 3-so. Doesn't really fit in the hand, but just going to throw the 1 out safely there.
Yeah, Adam with the advantage here. Doesn't want to throw it all away by dealing into a dealer Ricci, especially when 5-pin is the door and it's so easily usable in any of these hands.
Well, Ross going to make a shift towards Chanta here.
Yeah, Ross just shoving against this Ricci. And maybe encouraging Adam to do the same. Or so.
Well, 4-so clears the 7-so, at least reasonably well. Uh-oh. There's the deal in. Ricci, Pinfu, Tanya, Dora. Nora, it doesn't matter, but that's a dealer Mongon, and that's going to put Remy up near 50,000, a commanding lead in this game now.
Yeah, Remy has taken control here.
Has a floating Dora. Decent shape, not good ones here. 1-1-1-4-6 is okay. I mean, if you get a whole bunch of tiles, you can think about Honetsu, but it's probably going to be a normal hand most of the time. If you really like to just pair up that Dora, call the Chew to be done. Speaking of calling, we see 2 wind calls there on the left. Would love to show Sushi, but probably not getting it. Ooh, Khan? I haven't even gotten to the rest of the table, because that was some action over there. Oh, there's the Chew! Oh, no!
Drop.
Oh, just yeets the Dora like that and immediately punished.
Yeah, that'll be the second time we've seen it today.
Well, on the right, Pinfu hand that's not really getting there. Probably going to be Pinfu. Might even go Tanya with it. Give that Anko of 8 mon. Across the way, going to be a Pinfu hand. Maybe a 2-3-4 Sanjisku. But again, nothing is going to be as fast as that hand on the left. Dealer getting kind of close, but needs the 3-so pretty badly.
Had Ishanten decided to just drop the 4-6, I think they're definitely concerned about these pin tiles. It's hard to tell what the Honitsu is, but definitely doesn't look like it's Manzu.
I wouldn't even really think Honitsu with that pond. I think Toy Toy.
Yeah, Toy Toy or like a Chanta with a door pair.
Yeah. Right now, it definitely looks like a Chanta.
Turns out it's just Ishanten.
Tenpai across the way. Oh, not Tenpai taken on the left. I don't understand that at all.
See, south is gone, so that has to be the pair in the hand. West, east is dead, so it can't be.
Doesn't matter. There's the deal in. Just the 1300, and that's going to move the game along.
I guess greeting for Chanta in that hand as well, but I think you can take the Tenpai and still get Chanta if you draw the 1-so or 2-so.
Well, I see dealer with an east pair, so you can always call that as 2 Han, and I think that's the plan here. On the right, it'll eventually develop towards a Pinfu hand, but it looks kind of slow. The 4-6-7-9 is workable, but it's a lot of dump tiles. The 4 honors and the 1 mon across the way. Decent shapes in so, but needs some fills to get the pin shape with the 1-2-6-8. Of course, the 1 is at least Dora. There's the 7. You'd love to call it, but you really can't with these shapes. Although it says, no, you know what? I'm going to call it. I'm just going to get rid of this Dora. I don't want Dora. Who would ever want Dora? And on the left, we have a Haku pair. Maybe planning to go Dora Tonki. We'll see. Other than that, the shapes are very good here.
Yeah, and Remy, with this lead, would probably be perfectly fine calling for the Haku, even if it necessitates dropping the door in the future. Currently, there's definitely a path towards Dora Tonki, and with the one pin being dropped by other players, it seems like, I don't know, maybe you'll actually see it.
Well, that's a nice little upgrade there. You just cut the 6 pin. Nope, there goes Adora. I don't
Right.
really like the 6-6-7-8 shape, but edging it towards maybe Ipeco here. Because if we're calling the Haku, we don't really want to be on the 6-9, considering 3 of the 9s are out already.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a decent argument to dropping the 6. But of course, dropping the door before someone else can reach you on it is notable as well. Ooh, now you have to choose your diamond. Goes and cuts the 6 anyway.
And another Dora cut.
Truly, no one wants Dora in this game.
Well, Adam definitely wanted that one, but didn't take it. You saw a long pause there. It's like, I don't have a Yaku. Well, there was the wrong shape there on the left. You see, this could be Tempai already.
Okay, we've got plenty of solid shapes now. Just looking for the Haku, which is buried in the wall.
Also, potentially that 5-6-7 Sanshoku.
Yeah, that's right. If you're going to drop all these pin shapes, working your way towards Sanchoku is the way to do it.
Each.
Well, there it is.
There's the Richi, waiting for specifically the 7, but it can also win on the 4. Richi Nomi, or Richi Sanchoku with the 7 still comes out. There is...
7's dead.
Yeah, it's all held. There's 1-4, so in the wall. This hand looks like a great Chinitsu.
Well, that's going to be Tempai, so just going to get the double ace here, waiting on 9-so 8-mon. 9-so is locked up on the hand to the right. The 8-so 8-mon just comes right out, though.
Double tone 2900 plus the stick, and easy for Eric to 27-8, almost back to the positives. Another call and go hand with the tune pair, and Dora acceptance with the 5-6 diamond in hand. Yeah, here's the
They
tune.
look pretty well defined. They're not great, but they're acceptable here.
Yeah, takes the call as well.
On the right, pin fu type hand. 6 pin would help immensely. Also, it has a door in there. 8-mon would help pretty well, although now you upgrade that to a Ryonkon. Leaves door on either side. Across the way, pin fu hand as well. Gonna have to get rid of some of those honors, though. And on the left, I don't know, 7-8-9 Sanshku look pretty good.
I'll take it. 6-7-8 acceptable to me as well. And one of those is going to be using the Dora. Potentially some value for Remy if the draws come in. But the dealer with the ability to just open whatever they want here, like this 2-pin. Like this 2-pin? Okay. Definitely.
You have to call that one.
Yeah, definitely an advantage. Probably not hesitating on the call, just thinking about which tile to cut after they call. That was the delay there.
Right, whether you take the 2-4-6 or the 4-6-6 and gets Tempai here, waiting on 4-7. At 4 across the way, heels very loose, may come out.
Yeah, most of the time that turns into a sequence, and so the 4 just naturally falls out.
Boom.
Oh, but this time I'm going to use it as the pair and dodges the deal in.
Does dodge deal in.
I was going to say, Adam might upgrade the 5-7 into a 4-5, but then I realized the 7 was Dora, so a little bit, probably a little
well,
more
that's
hesitant to drop
Ishan 10
that.
across the way.
Oh, question posed.
Oh, well, now we'll see on the right if that gets held.
Answer delayed. Yeah, 3-pin draw, rather, could allow Adam to just go 8-9 instead. You don't have to take the Tempai. Especially because 2 players are open, they both might be Tempai waiting on Dora. But that instance, dropping the 8 isn't necessarily so safe either.
And on the left, we see Remy definitely going for that 79 Sonshoku as the plan. Problem is, don't really have a pair now.
Still Shanten for Ross.
Well, the 5 just came out, so the 8 should come right out. There it does.
Still Shanten for Adam.
Of course, Eric's just been sitting here since the beginning of row 2 and just hasn't seen anything. That's Tempai across the way, waiting on 5-8.
Oh, second Dora.
I mean, 5 Mon could be cut. Gonna throw the much safer. Well, I guess the 5 isn't even that bad here.
No.
It's Nagasuji across the way and pretty good there. Gimbutsu for dealer too.
This way allows you to pair up the 8 or 9. And you've only got a Kanchan this time, but...
Well, the idea here is obviously to call, but I don't really see a good route to call. Oh, there goes the Dora. Calls for K10. I think if you make that call, you cut the 4-pin.
Yeah, it had just cleared, and you don't really want to drop the door this late.
But there's going to be a win there for Eric. And now, as a Pinfu type hand as well, just not a particularly great one. Maybe shifting toward 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going on the right. Chun pair. And a whole bunch of other pairs. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So Chitoi Ryan Shanten also could just go Toy with this. Across the way, South pair. I know, kind of a Chanta hand, but unlike with that 5-6, you go Honitsu. It's hard to figure out what to do. You have the Dora pair, so I just go Honitsu. And then on the left, a few pairs there as well, but the hand's a bit of a mess.
I know these hands...
Everything kind of disconnected. There's no value.
I think Adam also is considering Honitsu, just given these early cuts. 3 so, 5 so, 9 so, 8 so. Going all these Mon tiles. There's path to Sadanko. Well, all 4 of the 6 is drawn and instantly
con there is actually a really bad play. You should not be conning that. You want to use the 6 as a run and then the Anko. I really dislike that 6 con.
We're not in the South Round yet, so you're going to have to find a Ricci or Ton.
Yeah, the plan is clearly Ricci here. And similarly, I don't like that 1 money either. Oh, see, yeah, you know what would be really nice to have right now? A 6!
Unfortunately, you can't pull the 6 out of the con, put it back in your hand.
Gee.
Oh, we'll just open up here, and this is going to be very difficult.
But definitely seeing Tanyao, I think, has to be Tanya. May not even realize it's not South Round yet.
Yeah,
I mean, the game has been going a long time. It feels like South Round. You remember, we didn't come in at the very start. We came in after 5 or 6 hands.
Yeah, I believe there had been at least 4 hands played already. And we will see the Honitsu Tempai for Adam. It is on the 7 Mon.
Will not be Itsu, but if you draw 6 Mon, you can upgrade it to Itsu.
Yeah, unfortunately.
There's a 7, but that fits in there on the left. That's not going to come out.
There's the
yeah, so good luck getting that 6 Mon, of course. And now Tempai with that Iyaku. Uh-oh. Con!
Tonki. 8 Mon Tonki?
Well, this is a much wider shape, I guess. Much more flexible shape, rather. So you obviously got the 8 or the 9 here. The question is which one. And I cut the 9 and wait on the 8. And now the 7 comes out. And now across the way we have... Oh, well, okay.
So much happened there all at once. Across the way, they actually found a Yaku in the west.
Yeah, it was Sananko.
And then
Sananko Tempai there with that Ankon, and then we saw the deal on the 8-man Tonki, but whoa, okay.
That puts Adam back in striking range for first place in the dealership in South 1.
Pinfu hand, would love to get the 2 Mon, 8 Mon. Also, a bunch of shapes here in So. I do not like that 5 pin. It connects to door. You have 3, 4, 5 side screw upgrades, and these honors really don't do anything. On the right, Pinfu, Rishi Pinfu, Tanya Dora looks very good. Maybe in a Peiko with that 5 So or 7 So draw across the way. Tanya, maybe pin fu in there, but unlikely. Now you get that uncle of 2 pin. So probably just a Tanya there. Distant routes to Itsu in Manzu. You need the 3, the 7, and the 8. But if you can get there, great. On the left, that is also a Ricci Tanya to Dora 1 hand. So could also try and call it down to Tanya Dora 1.
And so, I don't know. I feel like Eric is a player who really likes the Ricci. 24% Ricci rate. It's pretty high.
Well, Adams is going to go for the Honetsu now. That was a plan from the start, apparently. This is definitely an inefficient play. We'll see if it works out.
Yeah, it turns out that Eric just can't really use a lot of so tiles unless something's drawn around that 4 so soon. But if that 4 so overleaves the hand, all these lower sozu will now easily fit into Adam's hand. The 4 so drawn one step closer. Oh my goodness. Well, maybe Adam had the right
if
idea.
you're just going to draw 4 out of 5 so tiles in a row, go Honetsu. Also, potential Furita now across the way, having cut that 9-pin early.
Hands are really developing now. It seems like every other draw is perfect tile.
Ipeko Ishanten across the way. Ipeko on one side, Furita on the other.
Adam could call this and go for Chinitsu. 4-pin 4 so pulled. 4 so Chi?
I don't think the Chi. Well, let's see. Yeah, the Chi'd be fine. You have an extra 4, so I don't hate the pass, but I think you have to take it. The more I look at it, the more I think I'd take it. Oh, could cut the 7, the 8. Yeah, I definitely got the either the 2 so or the 7-8 now. Yeah, that's gonna be the plan.
This one absolutely will get
You
cheated.
have to take the 8. No question on that one.
I'm really rooting for the Gianpico on the right, though.
I mean, he had it, but gave it away given the 8 so cut. And we see now Adam building towards Itsu Honetsu.
Oh.
Let's see, if you chi this, I think you're supposed to chi
yeah,
this.
chi for 2-5 Tempai.
Chi for 2-5 Tempai and the Itsu. Right, that being the key point.
But this is Tempai for Mangan. 3-6 so.
Problem is those 3s and 6s are pretty locked up right now. Oh, and that 2 would have won.
Mm-hmm. Been a huge swing here, but still, I don't think any of these players will drop their tile. There aren't any in the wall, so.
Well, that upgrades to a 3-sided weight, but doesn't take it. Instead, cons into an extra Dora and says, okay, well, if that's the case, I'll just Ricci on the right. And see a pull, and the 4 gets shoved. Oh, and there's the 8. It deals in for Tanya Dora 3.
Wow.
Well, that's the C1 action, all right.
Ross had Chitoy Tanya Dora too.
All right. Well, Ross's dealer here cuts the 9-mon pair from the very start here. Could have gone Chitoy. I think you just normally just got the honors here. On the right, a couple of wind pairs. So you're looking for Hughes to go Honitsu or Toy Toy or something, especially with the Shaw being a Dora. But I'm not really seeing anything else. Maybe you could call towards 5, 6, 7 Sanchoku eventually. Across the way, speaking of Sanchoku, 7, 8, 9 looking very good. And on the left, kind of a pinfu hand, but you need something to connect. Oh, that's a disconnect.
Yeah.
That just looks like a disconnect.
Yeah, not a good time to be DC'd because you're so close to taking first place back here. But Ross is the dealer with the advantage in terms of being able to call the South. If the last South ever comes out. And right now, not a ton of value here, but any win will be a good win. Keep the dealership in your seat and advance towards the positive score.
Well, Eric draws the wrong end of the Sanshoku, so that hand's looking very cheap all of a sudden.
Oh, one so discarded. So Russ has a different plan.
Yeah, I don't like the one so there. I think you just cut one of the honors again.
It, it
Could
don't.
be thinking She Toy.
Yeah, I was wondering. I mean, he did get a monster Chitoy Tempai last hand. That didn't quite win. But sometimes if you have
Speaking
a
of Chi Toy, could have hedged it there on the left as well. I don't think the one pin does much for that hand.
for Remy with the two Dora, the
Yeah.
West pair, yeah.
Oh, and now you'd feel much better about this shape. The one pin just doesn't do anything at that hand right now. I understand you want to go Honitsu to be able to call, but especially the disconnect. If you just get to Tempai and slam it, there's a good chance you win.
Oh, and now this 6-7 shape looking terrible.
Oh, well, just draw the 2. Oh, just brute forcing the Honitsu, figuring that eventually it'll come out, especially if there's a disconnect. The problem is with a disconnected player is oftentimes they have the tile you're looking for that start in their starting hand.
Yeah, it turns out, fortunately for Remy, the Yakuhai were still in the wall.
Ishanten now. Also looking for that pay. Pay and the 5-8. Of course, we see the 5 is dead. The 8 is 1 left, though. Well, there's the non. That's going to be pwned almost certainly. Ishanten for dealer here. Could con this, but I don't think it helps you. I guess it gives you an extra draw.
Gives you 2 Dora.
2 Dora. Well, it doesn't matter if you're not Tempai, though.
You gotta see the North
Plus,
soon.
we know the 8 is completely dead. So gets Tempai out of it, so I guess it works out. Just waiting on the last 8 pin, which is stuck in Eric's hand.
Yeah, this
dealer will not get Tempai.
The shot was better, but again, that was the last draw.
Doesn't matter so much on the last draw.
Only 3,000 points, but that's not just 3,000 points. Like, that's
does
a 4,000
have the benefit
swing.
of scaring the rest of the table when you flip the hand over like that,
right.
though.
Oh, by the way, it was Honitsu Dora 5. Nope, Dora 6.
Oh, speaking of Honitsu with a whole bunch of fun shapes, what about that hand on the right?
Just throws the Dora, says, yeah.
Just throws the Dora, says, not any Dora, not with these shapes. And you know what? I agree with that. I probably got the 6 version, but I'd throw the Dora here. So, do we even really need to go over the rest of these hands? I guess a little bit. Dealer, Pinfu hand. On the left, Tanya. That Tanya may be faster, though.
Yeah, with 2 drawing pools. But Russ not taking that
Very surprised that 7 wasn't taken.
Oh,
I absolutely would have taken that 7.
Remy actually has Junchan outs here.
Ishanten on the right now. Yep, just going for the Junchan, looks like.
Ishanten for it?
Yeah, we'll need specifically the Tuso. Or I guess you could do that. That is Tempai. Just throw the 3-so here. You are 4-10. You will need the 9-so, though.
Yeah.
Con.
Now you see a Con. Sunzo Con.
6-mon new door, but that's been cut.
Well, waiting on Tuso here. Of course, that's completely dead. We know it's dead. We'll switch to the no Yaku weight here. Figures their way up. And there's our Tempai on the right, which is on 1-4 pin.
Oh, wow. Just all the
there's
action.
Our Pole. All the action here.
5-pin Tempai on the left for Tanya only.
8 pin for no Yaku and 1-4 pin for Honitsu Chun. Could throw a 1-so here. I definitely would have thrown 1-so. Could switch the weight, and we'll do so. Oh, and guess who's back?
Hey, Adam's back. All right, we've got a game now. It's like, welcome back. Look at the table and try to figure out what's happening.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, Wenmon has no winning tiles left.
You don't call anything at this point. You're just out. Let them deal with that. That
5-mon is just 2 save tiles.
You just die.
Yeah, fortunately, all the what 3 of the 4s are out, so
Yeah, it feels really weird here. Oh, and that 3 is a scary tile to push.
yeah, fortunately did pass because Eric did swap the weight.
6 is a Doro.
Sumo.
We'll shove it. And there's our Sumo. That's a Mongon. Hatsu, Chun, Honetsu. The cons don't do any extra good, but does get the Mongon. And that's going to be first place now for Eric. And knocks Adam under 30K, but we have one more hand left.
Yeah, Eric does this all the time. In the last game as well, had taken a bit of a hit and then just won a big hand to come back into it. This time that
Well, just Sumo.
clutch Mongon.
Well, Eric is looking at a Pinfu type hand. Needs to fill some ugly shapes, though, with 2 Penshon and then a 4-6 in So. Has a long way to go. Also, is a floating Paydora on the right. Similarly, a mediocre Pinfu hand across the way. A mediocre Pinfu Tanya hand, so you may be able to call that down, but you need a lot more value sitting there at 3,400. And on the left, probably the best hand by far, Ishanten, with potential upgrades for Ipeko, for 2-3-4 Sanshoku, and likely Tanya regardless. Tempai now, you could just Dama, that's going to be the plan here. Looking for an upgrade to get that Sanshoku.
Yeah, if he took the Ricci now, Ricci Tsumo Tanyao does tie.
Would be enough. Yeah, I think I'd just slam it. The problem is your 3-so just came out. Oh no, and there goes Adam again.
Yeah, internet issues plaguing Adam. Chi here doesn't really do anything, so just lets it pass.
I would cut 3-so here.
Yeah, that
I
makes
like the
sense.
Peiko upgrades. Unless you're just planning on confirming second, which with this spread I don't really like.
Yeah, given Remy's position overall, I think probably want to aim for first here.
Now we do have the arrows on the screen, so that's not actually true. There will not be a C2 division.
Ah, yes, that was also part of the update announcement.
Oh,
The
you have
down.
to cut 3-so here. I think you have to.
Yeah, Remy sees it
There it
too.
goes. Yeah, that has been announced. There will not be a C2, so there are no actual demotions at a C1.
Dealer might
Dealer's
have.
hand slowly getting better, but needs to fill these.
Oh,
And
there
that
it
is
is.
Tempai. There's your Sanshoku with the 2-5. Ricci, Pinfu, Tanya, Sanshoku on the 2-so. And that feels like it might flow right out of Dealer if he gets some reason to push here. And that Haku may be a reason to push, but okay, just folding out.
Yeah, has Hatsu Hatsu as well. That's dead. But still,
So where are we on this one? 2-so, and how many 5-so? 3. 5 outs left in the wall.
Ricci Tsumo Tanya Pinyu is first.
Yep, because you have the Oyakabari, and that would be enough to overtake.
Big chance for Remy. It almost feels like it's impossible for this not to win.
Looks like Adam's back again.
Yeah, it's so tough when you're
Uh-oh.
having internet problems and you come back and you just like
Yeah, 10-0 is merciless that way. If you disconnect 3 times, it'll flat out boot you.
Boom.
There's no pause button from an admin or anything. It's just you're in the game.
oh
Your
no!
Tempai across the way, and that's going to be the win there. Latanya will end it all, and at least Ross sneaks off with 2,000 there.
Keeps
But
Adam
Eric will
below.
be very glad.
Eric.
And Eric there wins that. That 32.3 jumps even farther up the ladder. In second place is Remy with a 14.3. Couldn't get that last hand. In third place, Adam, despite the connection issues, still only takes a -7. And in last, we have Ross, who did manage to snipe that last hand, but did take the brunt of the damage here at -39.6.
So overall, Eric.
Oh, what? Can we immediately go over to
Let's.
the B3 table, like right now? I don't care about switching things. Get over there now.
Okay. Let's take a look.
This is the one from earlier we're going to. I got an update that something may have happened in the next 5 minutes or so.
Well, let's just take a peek and see what it could possibly be. So we're looking at Jeffrey in the south seat, Elwin in the west seat, Ray in the north seat, and
And
Dylan.
Dylan there on the left in the east seat.
I just clicked a name randomly, but I think I'm just going to stay right here.
T.
Yeah, actually, a Kokushi Ryan Shanten here would need what? Pay 9-pin 9-mon? Hand on the left getting very close.
Oh
That's
my
Ishan.
goodness.
Oh, okay. Ishan 10.
Is that back to back to back Kokushi draws?
Well, when you see that pawn, I mean, it does look Kokushi, but oh, it'd be a nasty snipe if you get a Tenpai anytime soon here.
Yeah, what are we looking for? 9-mon and pay. Which are very live.
Con?
Kang.
I think I'd con. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then you cut the 9. You go Dorotanki. Potentially.
Yeah, Tanya Dora
Instead,
too.
just throw the 6 back. Well, there goes a Dora, and there's a Poland across the way.
Ray trying to come back in this game. Right now, 3 players over 30k. Elwin with the advantage. The problem for Elwin is, in this hand, he's gone Otosuke for the south, but Jeffrey's never dropping that.
Now, Ishan 10 now will need the non. There is one of those left, and we can't imagine it coming out of the Kokushi hand, though. And if they tune pause, you figure, okay, well, that's someone's pair, and it's probably the Kokushi hand.
It's the third
Haku is now
Haku.
3 cut.
And Dylan's going to need the 7-pin at this rate because you can't Dorotanki anymore. That is the third pay. It passes.
Yep, just needs one more.
Right. Also Otosuke, which is, again, a lot more challenging when you're up against...
Oh, well, that's a Tenpai. I think you have to slam this one.
Each.
The question is, which weight do you want? I wonder about the 4-5 weight. Yeah, that's good. Oh, wow. So there's our Kokushi Tenpai. Uh-oh.
What is safer here?
And draws the pay. So this is just the 9-mon, and there are 3 in the wall. Oh, no.
This is so live. And Dylan's weight is dead. It's completely held. And of course...
Oh, and there it goes. And there's our Kokushi.
Well done, Jeffrey. That's a...
Well, that's going to help your position a lot.
You don't say? That ends the game with plus 53.4. That also helps Ray out, who was looking at it taking a nasty fourth, but instead only takes minus 18.6. And
so with the 53.4, that launches Jeffrey from around 16th or so and all the way up to minus 10.6. So certainly out of the danger zone and can actually think about how to try and promote over the next 3 games. We'll have 3 games left, one more at this table.
yeah, I can actually pull that up for us, see the standings after that just went down. 10.6, and being positive is pretty important in all these lower divisions. So with 3 games to go, yeah, Jeffrey could definitely consider making a run at things.
And even with a negative there, Ray is now out of demotion, but of course has 5 games left. And there are demotions out of B3.
Yeah, and of course the Ricci by Dylan made a lot of sense. You got the con, you got Tanya Dora, your dealer trying to take first place. Just unlucky to have drawn that final 9. Well, not the final 9. There are 3 left, but the final tile to complete that Kokushi. And again, fortunate for Dylan that that taking a hit like that doesn't really matter in the grand scopes of things for him. Very fun hand. And one more number knocked off the Yaku decks for Jeffrey. Got that Yakumon in.
Yeah, I still haven't any Yakumon in Armel, even though I played since the first season. But have you gotten one?
Yeah, I got a Kokushi.
That's right, you did in session 6. I want to say last season.
Yeah, it was It was last season, I think. Yeah, it was last season because then I had a chance to take the top of the division and then tanked. The Kokushi gave me hope, and then I just went all out for it and I got a really bad fourth after that. But
Now we look at B3 and David just rolling, sitting there at plus 275, even with four forces, definitely going to promote. Would take a complete disaster here. Nathan kind of bounced up and down, promoted first 2 seasons, and then dropped back down out of B2. And Tenho named Ichihime, so that's always one that grabs attention.
yeah, I'm hoping that we'll get the chance to catch a game from Nathan next week. I
All
also,
right. Well, I think that's going to be about it for us then.
yeah, I just saw one note that you might be interested in. There was an A1 table that played one game, and it was Dustin taking
Claire,
first
Dustin,
place.
Alex, and Minko. Of course, Dustin had been slightly out of demotion, had a monster session at the table I was at that I'm very mad about,
And
but continues that role and won this game,
so
just dominating the
the
table.
notable hand for Dustin was his first dealership East 2 won Rinshan Tonton Dora 4 for dealer Haneman.
That guy has some ridiculous con flow. He
I,
had in my table a Rinshan Baimon, and then in another hand, I wasn't going to push, except he then conned me 3 Dora, and I had to push something into him.
and then he won a Mongon off of that one. Yeah, it was definitely he's got that con flow. Definitely a believer of the flow book, and apparently it does reward you sometimes.
Yeah, now sitting at minus 6.1. Minko, though, dropping quite a bit. Now at minus 119.5 with 3 games left. Claire just kind of sitting there in position, hoping to get something over the next 3 games to try and make a play for the championship.
Yeah, we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on all of the other action around the league as those A1 results come in. That being
All right,
said,
then. So, yeah, that's going to be it for us. I know you held down the fort by yourself for a while. It's good to get some of these games in. We try to cast everyone in the league at least once, at least best we can, and it's nice to see you getting that in there. So
yeah,
I know we are down to less than 10 left out of all the active players in Armel this season.
and there are tons of players. The league keeps growing and growing. It's getting harder and harder to accomplish the goal of casting everybody, but we've made it happen just about everyone every season with very few exceptions.
Well, we've
So,
had a couple, and oftentimes that's that someone was there when we were ready to stream, and then they delayed 45 minutes. Or like, okay, well, we canceled by that point. But
yeah.
we do make a good faith effort if you're in the league to get you at least once up here. And so, with that, any closing thoughts other than ooh, Yakuban?
I'm so glad we got to end on the Yakuman. That was a lot of fun. If you hadn't pointed out, I was about ready to close up shop. So, great call there, and looking forward to the rest of the season, rest of the session. Thanks so much for hopping in and sparing my vocal cords. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Of course, registration for the winter season has already passed, but you can still sign up on our website, AmericanReach.org. There's a very, very, very small chance that you could uh, fill out the one of the divisions. And there's also a very strong chance that if you'd like to act as a substitute next season, there will be opportunities for you to do so. But you have to register on the website to get that opportunity. So AmericanReachy.org. You can also keep track of all of the standings in all of the divisions as the games come in, even if we're not broadcasting. And also, if you'd like to see more Session 6 broadcasts, follow us on Twitter/X and on Twitch. And if you'd like to see any of the games replay that we've broadcast from today, from any of the broadcasts this year, you can always look at our YouTube channel, tinyurl.com/ARMLYT, or at American Ricci on YouTube.
All right, then. For Nathaniel, this is correct for the American Reach Major League signing off. Have a good night, everyone.